when it comes to the yard stream. So I'm just waiting for some more of these invites to come in. So let me see. Go live on TikTok. Yeah. So Al, since you're in, all you got to do is press request to join. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, I see you, Al. It's just all you have to do is just I need to flip this camera around. Oh, there we go. That was easy. So Al, yeah, Al, you're in now. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look. Peace, everybody. We just getting by everybody in here. On here.
We still waiting for more people, brothers. Oh,
Nah, we good to go. I'm waiting for you to come online.
oh,
I'm waiting on IG. Find me, like I said.
yeah. I added you, followed you on IG to let me see what
Go,
is.
go to his page and then you'll see the live on this picture. Click it.
Hold on. I see what is that? Hold on. I see one picture. Maybe do I got the right one? The red cycle, to the red cycle we go.
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh.
Just go to his profile, Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast.
Oh, I didn't put in podcast. I didn't join somebody. Hold on. Wait a minute.
No, you. I saw you. I saw you follow me. I didn't see that.
Oh, okay. I just didn't do the podcast. All right, hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah. It's still. So all you have to do is once, like you said, once you see me on there, um, it's going to show like a circle that's showing that I'm live, and just press that, and then ask to invite to join, and then
Okay.
I'll just bring you on.
Okay, let me see.
Or request
Let
it.
me take that podcast. Let me take the podcast out. Oh shit. Open that. Hold on, bear with me. Let me just go back to where I was at.
Peace,
Okay.
everybody. We
When
just
I
getting.
click on when I click on it, it got let me see if I can show you what I'm looking at.
Yeah, tap the icon. That's
Yeah,
it. I mean, we don't have to be on the Instagram live. This is broadcast simultaneously, right?
no, I was trying to actually get on it. So but that is weird. When I click on it,
Let's see.
it doesn't show me the live. And you said that is is that this what y'all went y'all and y'all seen the
Let me. I might be able to. Let me see. I might be able to actually add you. Let's see. What's your handle on IG?
it's gonna be um Antoine Xiamaru. Hold on, it's gonna be Albert. Let me type it to you. Let me text it to you. That way.
Yeah, put it if you can
In the
put it in
chat.
just the private chat here. Just put it in there. I can look at it that way.
On
Okay.
StreamYard.
On StreamYard, yeah.
Uh, and give me 1 second. Yeah.
All
Hold
right.
on.
We getting it together, folks. We just make sure everybody's online there because we're gonna have a very detailed conversation tonight about a lot of different subjects, a lot of important subjects that's going on in the world right now. You know what I mean? You have three very knowledgeable individuals and you know what I mean. We're just gonna get it in tonight. And the brothers asked me, if I had a time constraint. I'm just like, if y'all seen any of my shows, it's like we go till we go. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna keep on. As long as we can get this information out, then so be it. So you know. So, Al, do you know his IG handle?
Yeah, I'm here. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Wait, where we go? Oh, my. Oh, shoot.
Hold on.
Okay. So, were you able to do it?
So
No,
Brother?
no. Give me a handle, and I'm gonna invite you to
Oh, I
join.
put it in. Oh, you said put it in this chat? I put it in that. Okay.
it's
Oh, you
Sharif.
put you put it.
It's
You see
Sharif.
it? Okay.
My
Yeah, I put it in.
IP.
I could put it here.
That's his IG one.
Right
Al.
here. I'm gonna put it here.
Yes, it's Sharif.
Okay. Okay.
Sharif.
Because he has
Second name.
Operation underscore Americano. That's what he
Yeah.
just sent me. But
Yeah.
that's not his.
You have two Instagram handles?
Um. I might, but that's the one. That's the one that I mainly. The one that I mainly
Okay.
use.
Okay,
American
that's fine. That's fine.
underscore Americano.
I'll
Oh,
yeah.
I could just give you the name. Hold on.
Hold on a second. I'm looking around. ABORIGEN
You could do this.
underscore Americano.
No.
Hmm.
That's not coming up on my.
What about the other one? You see which one
Let's
what I just
see.
put there?
Yeah. Let me see. Antoine.
He can tag you in later.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't get it, yeah, you could. It's no big deal.
Yeah. If you on there now, um, are you on IG right now?
Yeah.
All right. Just go to, like I said, the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Just go to that. Just
Okay.
click on that.
That's what I don't. Okay, I got. It's like when I see the yellow icon, but when I click on it, it's like nothing happens, you know. But you did say that you saw me, that you see me. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Let's
Okay, I
see.
click on your profile. It says see your profile. I click on your profile. It does have following. Um, hmm.
Let's see. Let me see if I can.
That's weird.
I don't know. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
we can worry about it later.
yeah. No sweat. No sweat. If I could I'm just trying
Oh,
to see. I wish
you
I.
said polka dot rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
That's what that I didn't add the. Oh, okay, hold on. I think maybe that's the issue.
That's the issue.
Okay, so when I click on polka dot rabbit hole,
It should show
this
that I'm live.
this is what I see when I.
Sharif, don't worry about it.
Okay,
We
all
get,
right.
we get it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all
Yeah.
good. It's all good. Well, we oh yeah, cause let's see. Let me share this link on cause that's another thing for folks out in the TikTok world. If you go to if you actually click on my link and go to YouTube, the actual link is there. Somebody just asked me to put the link on there, so
Oh,
um
you got it on YouTube. I mean,
yeah,
what's
it's
your?
on YouTube.
Okay, hold on one second. That should be easier because it's a direct link. Uh, so
Oh no, don't no. This is somebody in the audience. They were asking.
okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. Um, Al, could you let's try to think. Could you share that link? Could you share the link in on the IG chat? Is that possible? Let me see. Let me see if I can. I might be able to do it. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. We got people asking for the link, so I got to provide it to the people. So bear with me. I think I got it out. Hold on a second.
I just sent it to you, Sharif,
Okay.
in your message on Instagram.
Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm putting the link in right now to the YouTube link. Y'all can have that. All right. All right. Now I'm ready. Thank y'all for being patient. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. If y'all have not seen me, thank you very much for tuning in. And before I go into much detail, please press that like button, the follow button. If you're on IG, TikTok, YouTube, please subscribe. Polka Dot Rabbit podcast is pretty much a podcast is here to uplift humanity, in addition to uplift and awaken the woolly head zombies that have been asleep, you know, for the last 6,000 years. So that's our main concern. That's what we do here. Try to uplift people, good information out, you know, to the people. If you haven't already, please pick up my book, Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. Go to polka.rabbitpodcast.com. You can pick that up. And that's pretty much it for me here. I have 3 amazing guests here. And I'm going to let every one of them introduce themselves. Not in particular order, but please. Oh, well, Al, since I see you in IG, go ahead. You can go ahead and introduce yourself first. And if you can find me also, bro, if you can find me on IG, go ahead and try to come live with me, and I'll accept your invite. So while Al's doing that, so go ahead, Al.
Thank you for having me on this show. This is the second time I've been on this podcast, and people who haven't shared this podcast to others, please do so. There's a lot of content on so many subjects. I don't even know which screen to look at. Concerning all kind of fields, you know. But my name is Brother Al Carter. I'm one of the co-founders of the Magi Order of the Black Sun, a member of the Illuminated Council of 13 that governs that particular order, and Lotus Order of the Blood Moon. I've been studying the occult and esoteric and religion, comparative studies all my life. And around 2012, the great Cosmic Mother spoke through me and Brother Sharif on reopening those orders that's been dominant in the darkness and come to light. When it comes to people of color, Negroid, Black, whatever you want, Moorish, whatever term you want to use, there is no esoteric occult orders for us. The Golden Dawn, OTO, the Rosicrucian, Rosencross, and all the other different orders and societies, they took the information from the indigenous peoples of the planet, and they used it for their benefit to conquer and to enslave and spell, you know, enchant people. And I just think it's time for our people to reclaim what is ours. And that's why we established that particular order in 2012. My occult name is Doc Ravencrow. The other brothers on this podcast, Brother Sharif and Brother George, also known as Lord Vihaan, I'm sure they can give their story as well. I have went through the Nuwaubu schools under Dr. Malachi York and other great teachers like Bobby Hemmett and etc. All these teachers deserve honor and respect, and we do give those respect in our society. I'll pass the torch to who's next in line.
Yeah, my name is Brother George Mapp. My cult name is Lord Vihaan, which basically means Lucifer in Hindu. I basically came into this information like way back in 1979 when I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So when as a kid, I used to go to 42nd Street and see these brothers in the white robes, and they would actually sleep in the train station. So make a long story short, I joined the five percenters. I went to the school in Canarsie, Brooklyn. It was John Wilson, and you either was the Avenue L boy or you was a 5%er, and the Avenue L boys were Italian, so that was out. So if you know anything about Brookline, and I was a 5%er, and then I ran into this brother named Maurice Leach, and he started teaching me about Imam Misa, and then come to find out one of his sisters was one of Imam Misa's wives, and he started teaching me. So I left the 5% information alone, and I've been with that with Dr. York and all the other schools, and then that is found the Luciferian information, through Al and through the tablets and through Bobby Hemmett, and that's basically my story.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Okay, so who next in line? Who we got?
Yeah, that's going to. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Salute everyone. Yes, this is Sharif Antoine Wilson. Also go by Magick Xiamaru, and a host of other names, depending upon what school of thought. Pretty much came into knowledge or enlightenment around 1995 in my native hometown of Newark, New Jersey. Started off with the Nation of Gods and Earths, better known as the 5% Nation.
Peace, God.
Peace, knowledge. Yes, I also went on to master learn the 120 lessons that we had in the 5% Nation. One thing that I noticed, in passing through the subways and in my commutes and travels, to and fro from from Newark to the rallies or the parliaments in New York, what we called Mecca and Medina. I would see certain brothers, they were Ansars, from the Ansarullah community, and at the time, I wasn't aware of the term, Nuwaubians or anything like that. We just knew them as Ansarullah, and really, they pretty much we looked at them as our rivals, more or less. It was just a conflict of information, in terms of awakening and enlightening our people. But there was something that was very curious, insofar as that, when I would see the brothers out there in New York, I believe that, Lord Vihaan was alluding to, in terms of, you see these brothers in passing, they had a book sprawled out on the table, saying they're in New York and so on. And long story short, one day, I just started picking up some of those scrolls and started reading. And eventually it led me to North Carolina, my mom's hometown, and then to Georgia, and when I really started studying more, it just opened me up even more to a world of things. I mean, there were some schools of thoughts, in between it, but I don't, we'll get into some of that, a little bit later. And I just got into occult, occult stuff, Sufism, chaos magic, and a list, a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's a laundry list, but in a nutshell, I pretty much just study wherever, any and every, everything in terms of the occult and wherever the, quote unquote truth may lead one.
That's what's up. Yeah. So everybody here, I guess everybody went through the school of Nuwaubu. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. You know what I'm saying? I guess, and I, it's really interesting because a lot of individuals on a higher level of information. I've just noticed that that's the case. A lot of these, a lot of these teachers, great teachers, even today, they all went to that school, under Dr. York. So that's got to give prop to Doc, you know what I'm saying, for her making a whole bunch of great teachers, you know what I'm saying, like we're looking at right now. So, question. I know you kind of talked about it a little bit, but could you please go into detail exactly how the Magi Order of Black Sun was created? What was the thought process? Like what did Abraham come into you? You know what I mean? And did he? You seen her in the mountain? What happened? Could you put that? All jokes
As,
aside, what
as much as
go
we
ahead.
can reveal, because we are a sacred and secret society, but there were visions and different things that were given to me and Sharif. To a lot of things we destroyed more than we put out. Put it that way. But it's in a nutshell, we as a people have to reclaim and redeem our spiritual sciences. Some people are doing it through the ATR, African traditional religions. Some people are doing it through Al-Islam. Some people are doing, and this is our path, the way we've been led, and the Spirit has led us to form and organize. Because the order is not just a spiritual order; it's an order for survival. We're acquiring different things to survive, be it land, resources, etc. Again, I can't go into that much detail because this you can't let your right hand know what the left path is doing.
Indeed.
But and why I say that is because what people don't understand, they fear. A prime example of that is the Georgia Guidestone that was demolished. Was it last week? Week 4?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
From people's misunderstanding of something, they, in a lot of propaganda and fear mongering, people will try to attack and destroy you. So for the topic is, torchbearers. It's very dangerous to be a torchbearer in this day and time because you are exposing and revealing different things that some people don't want exposed and revealed. So if you spoke about Dr. York, he's in an underground prison for being a torchbearer. You can go all through all the different names, either to assassinate you or they lock you up or, discredit you or label you. And that's one of the reasons why the occult orders are secretive, because and you might see a crossbone in a skull or something grotesque, that its purpose is to scare you away. In our societies, we call them the profane. The profane don't understand, so it's best to keep them at bay. So we put grotesque and scary crossbones and different things, and or satanic looking images to scare those in the Abrahamic faiths and those people who think the devil is coming, and all these things were orchestrated so that you will stay away, and those who are ready to learn and receive that light will be able to get it without interference.
Yeah.
So it's different levels of occult and esoteric circles, and it depends on your level where you want to reach. Some people are satisfied with being just a Sufi. That is a spiritual path that's beyond the normal Muslim. They want to get a lot higher. You know what I'm saying? So even every religion have a higher level.
Yeah.
There's those torchbearers or Luciferians in those societies, and they're in Hollywood, they're in the music industry, they're everywhere. Even the medical industry, those ones who are fighting pharmaceutical companies. The pharmaceuticals, sorcery, pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
Everything is all in. What we are teaching is in a minute way is in all religion already. Jesus said, "Greater works will you do than I." I mean, if he's God, how are you going to do greater works than God? You know what I'm saying? But the power is in you.
Yeah.
I remember one of the stories, I think I forgot which gospel it was in, where Jesus was walking on the water, and Peter, wasn't it Peter? I think Peter, yeah. Peter saw him and was like, "Yo, can I come out there too?" And I'm like, "Sure." So Peter steps out the water, and Peter starts walking on water, Then he started looking around. He started looking at the waves and the wind. Most Christians know this story. And he started to sink. What was the first thing he did? He said, "Lord, save me." And Jesus rebuked him and said, "Oh, ye little faith." And people misunderstood the message there. It wasn't little faith in Jesus. It was little faith in yourself.
In himself.
Yeah.
Jesus was a Magi himself, and he was a part of the Essenes. He was teaching those type of teachings. I'm from above, you are from beneath. He was. I mean, if you really read the words Jesus was talking about, he wasn't talking about Abrahamic faith. Being raised in Egypt, most of his adolescent life. So and you can go through all these different religions, find the same thing, in Islam, and the occult sciences and the esoteric sciences are in every religion. He gives it the vibe. I always said, we was having a conversation the other day. Imagine America without the so-called Negro, black person, indigenous person. Imagine who would want to come here. Saying what would attract a person?
What would attract them to come here? Yeah.
We give America soul.
Yeah.
Anytime they want to sell something, you hear our music, you hear our pictures. We give everything soul, and that's in religion and everything else. So you take us out of the equation, we step out of it.
Yeah.
See, will it be, it's powerful. And I'm not trying to be in a racist state. I'm just saying, Jesus mentioned that. He said, you are the light of the earth. You're the salt. Where's the salt without the flavor? So you got to think about, it doesn't matter what path you're on, as long as you go higher and higher, because you're descended from a higher being. I want to hold the mic up, but I just want to talk about the Magi of the Black Sun. We're not public. We're public for a moment, but we're not public. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're out for a moment, and then we're going to step back in the shadows.
Indeed. Okay. I'm with you. Okay. So it's real interesting, because I know we were all talking about, current events, you know what I mean? And I mean, I'm gonna tell you something, man, because right now, I'm traveling a lot, but right now I'm in Virginia right now, right? And, Virginia is not as hot as Atlanta. It's not as hot as Florida. Put that out there. But boy, oh boy, when I walk outside, it's something more than heat out there.
Yeah.
It ain't just heat.
I
It's
love
something
Virginia.
coming down, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all, you know what I'm saying? So could one of y'all brothers kind of, elaborate on that, and maybe, what's going on with this energy that we're feeling? What's up?
I don't know. I've been to Virginia. Yeah. Damn, Al.
No, I see Sharif is, he's on that hookah. He might, I'm sure that,
No, that's just peace pipe, type thing. Some herbs. Like in terms. I just recently left Virginia, and I understand, understand the thing, with the heat, and all, but it seems, something else is, amiss, when it really comes to that. It was unusually hot, and so forth. Matter of fact, my family from Jersey, had came down, it was kind of like having a little, reunion there. And we really were like, whoa, this heat is, something different. Not only that, to mention, they're reporting that we're having these heat waves, across, the nation, and so forth, triple digits, places like, Texas, Arizona, elsewhere. And, some people may even be looking at some of the things that, just recently took place, with CERN, and so forth. And, maybe, I would deduce and say that, by them, interfering, not just, with CERN, I'm not sure, how many of y'all are familiar with, Mount Weather and the HARP, project, and so forth. So, some people, will look and say, well, these are, just ancient, or, as most people would, subscribe to biblical prophecies, and so on. But, at times you really have to take that, with a grain of salt, just to, refer back to what, Maggie's, Dark Ravencrow was referring to, insofar as the, what I want to say here, the thing is that with the Georgia Godstones, so with all these different things, that's going on, it's like they're really, interfering with a lot of this stuff. Everything is not just, a biblical prophecy, or, some sort of, to those who subscribe to a Quranic, prophecy or whatever. It's a lot of interference, that's going on, for various reasons, some of which, we'll elaborate or, expound on, as further on in the show.
Yeah,
Also,
I'm just wondering because I keep on seeing specifically, this is from scientists about these solar flares that are just jumping out the sun. And you know what I'm saying? And and I've heard Dr. Delbert Blair talk about it.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
heard Dr. York talk about the solar flares. I've heard Bobby Hemmett, all these and they saying that the sun flares itself are specifically to like awakening mechanisms for melanated beings. So
indeed,
it's like we've been asleep for so long, and so is the sun. You know what I'm saying? Now they're saying the sun is starting to wake up, and it's just spitting out this this information from the sun to us. You know what I mean? Do y'all have y'all heard that? Could y'all want to anybody want to build
yeah.
on that?
Yeah. Speaking, just going into the Barbara page from the Tanakh,
Uh huh.
in Malachi or Malachi, it start talking about the sun coming back with healing in his wings.
Mm.
Sons of righteous, saying you win, and that, saying the whole, saying ordeal. And I'm not trying to be, I don't want to come off as racist. I know it's a lot of pale people who are, say have a lot of knowledge, but I couldn't help but, to acknowledge like some of the stuff that I was seeing, on the news that the
Mm-hmm.
people that they were showing, like in one, they had one, I believe this one was in Arizona, where they were showing, one of the guys, he had actually fainted, saying, going to UPS guy, saying he's going
Mm-hmm.
to, don't say deliver a package, and yeah, he, it's just like he collapsed. Us, saying as, carbon melanin, saying beings or entities, our, saying our hue, saying our, complex, our skin complexion is, saying an absorbent, saying to, saying those ultraviolet rays, saying that emanates, from, saying the black sun or the sun, if we will get into that, but so again, it seems as though, one could say, the times, are actually, changing, because some of those elders, in terms of, Bobby Hemmett, Master Teacher Dr. Malachi York, Dr. Phil Valentine, to name a
Mm-hmm.
few, they have spoke, in depth,
Yeah, in
so,
detail. Yeah.
right, in terms of these issues.
Yeah, now and it's funny you say that too, because it's like I always trip because it's like I don't I don't believe like in the hocus pocus, the whole stuff about just because you melanated, you know what I'm saying, that you got it. Because if you got melanin and you eating, chitlin sandwiches every day, and you know what I'm saying, and you eating, drinking grape Kool-Aid, and you're polluting your melanin, you know what I'm saying, you're jacking yourself up. So, you know, and I understand what you're saying, but it's like even like when we saw all the stuff that happening with the the I call like they called the heebie-jeebies. You had a lot of people just falling out, man, that were not in shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we still are talking about a whole, like y'all talking about the like the higher levels of, it's like the higher levels of you being in tune with nature and the universe. You know what I'm saying? It's talking to you. Because if you ain't, then we all witness, we all know a lot of people that got xed out after the heebie-jeebies came along. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that's just interesting to me when I think about the whole solar flare thing, because you know the cleaner your melanin is, the cleaner your signal is, and yes, you can get the downloads. You know what I'm saying? We all know we have the downloads. I go outside, I'll be laying on the beach sometimes because and them things hitting me. I'm just like, dang, where'd that come from? Real talk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it took it also it it's a part of the frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And to put in a small level, if your frequency is matching whoever, what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
you need to build with. I don't care if it's European, Asian,
Mm-hmm.
whatever these different titles these people made up.
Mm-hmm.
These frequencies, the sun is giving out frequency.
Yeah.
The central sun in our galaxy is sending out a frequency.
Yeah.
Uh, and that is why those, I call it the cowards that be, I don't give them that much power. The cowards that be, they put these frequencies, I don't care if
I
it's
like that.
5G, 4G, 8G, and I don't know if you remember, remember when they went from analog TV to digital TV?
Right.
Mhm. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Just talking
You
about
remember that the government paid for those boxes to put in your
Boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But has the government ever cared about the quality of your TV?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But those boxes was bringing those frequencies in your home.
Right.
Mhm.
So you got to, when you was talking about the sun and receiving the messages, they're doing their best to block those messages.
Yeah.
Block those, not just from the sun in the universe, we have an inner universe as well. Our ancestors, you know, across. So to keep us in that illusionary world, they keep us in a state of chaos. You know what I'm saying? They create the chaos, then they give you the solution. We create the virus, and then we give you the vaccine. You know, it gets very market. You know, it's very profitable to be the problem and the solution.
Yeah.
So people talk about the multiverse. You know, the multiverse is an occult level, but the multiverse they're putting us in, we're already here. People are thinking putting some headsets on, and you know, we're already in a multiverse.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sharif the other day, and I was talking about the vegan lifestyle. I made a point. I said, now, if you take away Amazon, if you take away Whole Foods and your local grocery store and everything, could you actually live a vegan lifestyle? Will your surroundings or your environment, you know, be conducive to living that type of lifestyle?
Yeah.
Even the amount of meat eaters, will you have that much meat available readily? You have to live off the land.
Exactly.
So these people have put us in an artificial world already. We're inside of these air-conditioned homes. You know, everything's microwave fast. Everything's convenient. They're making you dependent on them to live in their world. And the moment you want to step out, be you a Mormon or any other type of sect, you be get labelized and, you know, demonized that, you know, these people are a cult. These people are angels. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to be free from you.
Yeah.
The real independence and freedom is cutting the ties to his world.
Exactly.
Revelation said, "Come out of her, my people."
Come about her. Yeah.
That you want to be to taking the, you know, the things that's but the plagues about to happen. So the more you love and attach yourself to this beast, the more you are susceptible to his things.
Exactly.
Like you say, eating the you know, the pork chop sandwiches and chip, you know, those are cutting your frequencies.
Yeah.
The women are naturally the nurturers and healers. So if your woman, your wife, your daughter, your mother is not, you know, is not knowledgeable on how to take food to heal you, to take herbs to heal you, to take essential oils to heal you, you know, you're in a bad shape because men are not natural nurturers. You know, we're the logical expert, you know, the logical side of the human being. Women are the emotional, which ties into the spirit. So we was talking about this other day as well. The destruction of our communities is the destruction of the family.
Yeah.
If they can take roles apart, confuse the roles, you know what I'm saying, have men in a women's state, feminine, and women are in a masculine state, always be warring. If you take the men out the equation, it's easy to take the queen or take the rest of the troops. So all this is to put us in this illusionary world, you know, the 9 to 5, all these different things that have us distracted. Because during this heebie-jeebies episode, people had a time to think because they wasn't going to work. People had time to think. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Some people broke up. I don't even like this person. I'm saying they realized I don't even like this person because they never spent time with them until the heebie-jeebies came. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, well, why am I working this job and buzzing? I can do something for myself. So there's a lot of aha moments.
Self-realization.
Because people had time to stop and think. You had time to look at the situation because they have you always on the move. You know, say, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. I remember the master teacher saying, you know, prayer is the art of talking. Meditation is the art of listening. We're always talking. You never get that information, that those downloads to you because we're always busy. I got to do this. I got to do that. You know what I'm saying? I got to get this new thing. You know, I check out this new hot chick. You know what I'm saying? But no one is going inside.
Yeah.
You know, and building that part of you. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, whatever. You still need to go inside. You know what I'm saying? But it was free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, and I agree, man, because you know, I know a lot of people that dealing with like plant-based, you know, herbs and mushrooms and stuff, and
Exactly.
you know, once you s- go there and you realize that this this third dimension is an anchor, you know what I mean, and there's much more out there. So you take what you just said and then throw, you know, you take what you just said and you throw all the worst intent, like, you know, somebody asked me about sports, and you know, I played baseball. You know, everybody know me. I played baseball. I used to wrestle. I played football. All that stuff. You know, all that stuff. You know, back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Not even long ago. I still like. You know, I watch it, but you know, I look at things much differently now because it's like, and I look at it now because it's like, damn, all that time when I was watching this games. You know what I'm saying? I was doing all these different things. I could have been studying. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You know
I
what
don't
I'm
even
saying? I'm just
I
like,
don't even like
just
sports.
you know what I'm saying? Distraction. You know what I'm saying? Distraction. All this. How about money? How much
Yeah.
money I might have put into all these different things. I'm just kind of piggybacking off what you're saying, Al, because it's like all this stuff is all distraction. They got all this daggone papyruses. You know what I'm saying? And all these papyruses, all this information from our ancestors, all locked up, studying it, doing all these different things and all that stuff. We sitting there worrying about who won the football game. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the exact opposite of how we saw life back in the day. Because look, in the mystery schools, you couldn't even get out there as a priest till you're 40 years old. So that means your butt was in there studying for 40 years of your life before you were even, you know, initiated.
Yep.
You know,
I agree.
what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
Bobby
What are we
Hemmett
doing, man?
mentioned that.
He did, yeah. You
The
know what I'm saying?
illusionary
So
world.
yeah, exactly. This world, man. So it's like, and you know, I remember I saw Baba Kalindi right before he passed a couple of years ago, and I was
Oh, yeah.
yeah, rest in peace, brother, Baba Kalindi, rest in power. But I said to him, I said, hey, you know, I told him I can't remember my age was back then. You know, I'm 40 something, so I told him whatever my age was, and he was just like, I said, I'm finally starting to get it. He looked at me. He said, he was like, yeah, at this age, you know, this is about time you start to get it. You know what I mean? And it's like more amplified now because you know, as we all been doing half our life, we've been studying high level information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now it's like, yo, it's like you see, I see stuff every single day that I saw Dr. York say on Instagram and Facebook. Was you know what I'm saying? This years ago, I'm seeing all this stuff now like it's brand new information. I'm like, you know,
You know, if I may chime in a minute,
yeah,
you know, that's one of the things, you know, we you know, it's been a lot of controversy, you know, through, you know, things with Dr. York, the master teacher,
hmm
and you know, and I'm not trying to you know, justify anything, but what I would
hmm
say, I have seen over the years, you know, a lot of people, especially, you know, the master teacher was pretty much doing these, talking about these things at a time when it wasn't popular, at a time
yeah,
where it's like, you know, somebody get him in a straight jacket quick, you know. um and the thing is, it's like now I hear a lot of people, you know, and not to try to discredit anyone, you know what I'm saying? No, I think that is, you know, is good and it's interesting that, you know, more people are, you know, waking up and these things, you know, within their minds are, you know, coming to fruition.
hmm
Uh I think one of the things is that, you know, not that, you know, anyone has to, you know, praise or worship, you know, Dr. York, you know, that's not what I'm advocating, but you know, it's like any, like in terms of giving credit, you know, where, you know, I feel credit is due. It's like
hmm
I'm not going to get into names or anything, but some people that, you know, speak and talking about certain things, you know, if you ever was a student of, you know, Nuwaubu or the Ansar, you know, community,
hmm
whatever school of thought, you know, that we have went through, you could tell that some of these people are reading directly
Oh yeah,
from, you know, what I'm saying, the, you know, the lessons, you know, the scrolls, the tablets,
hmm
you know, and so on. And it's like the way that they set themselves up as if, you know, it's coming, you know,
yeah,
directly
from
from
them.
themselves. And
Hmm
I'm like, wow, like I say, he was just doing this and talking about this stuff at the time. Admittedly, there was times especially as a teenager, I was like, this guy's crazy. I'm reading, I was referring to as adult comic books, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And it for me, it wasn't really about having, a colonizers or a Pellman stamp of approval, but it was rather interesting and asserting that when I was looking, I said, wow, there's people, saying that's actually, saying talking about this, that, are aware of these particular things. Like, he had one of these sayings where, don't believe me, check it out. So, when you think about that, it's like, if someone else isn't already talking about it, if it's not, saying did to be checked out, how could you check it out? A lot of times, I don't want to say in every instance, but in many instances, whenever I would go and look, because I started off in a sense, especially, coming from the nation of gods and earth, as like, this guy is crazy, he's making up lies, and we don't know where he getting this stuff from. And so my objective was, well, let me dig in and go through and because I disprove this stuff that he's talking about. And interestingly, well, at the time, I wasn't really aware that would lead me, saying down further paths. I was like, wait a minute, what really became disturbing was like, now he's not making all this stuff up.
Yeah.
That was a rude awakening for me. And I could have easily, just dismissed and said that, I'm still not, going with any of that stuff. But, and long story short, it just led me into, saying digging further and going, further into, saying these particular things. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that for now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree, because, I think, and I know, I look at a lot of, Al and I, we communicate a lot, so I look at some of his posts, and we, joking on stuff, but serious stuff as well. But I'm seeing stuff like, oh, okay, Man for Planet Risk book, and he talked about, oh, there was, there's galaxy with 3 suns, and now NASA and the science is now saying they found a galaxy with 3 suns. You know what I'm saying? Now they want to talk about Antarctica. You know what I'm saying? He's going to, what I'm saying? There's so many things that I'm seeing now that, for me back then, I've just, like you said, Sharif, like they were just kind of out there, but now it's being confirmed. And he always said that, well, y'all think I'm crazy. He said, but y'all gonna see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's but I have to say this, man. It's amazing to me to look back at the stuff I learned, in the '90s, all that stuff that I got from Dr. York, and like, especially nowadays, like look in the book Leviathan, the different books, Leviathan 666, and just look at all the stuff he talked about like way before, and now it's happening now. It's like, yo, was he a time traveler? You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, yo. Was he like, did he just have this all laid out in front of him? He's like, yo, this is all gonna happen. I gotta give this to me for the short period of time, before, and I'm actually kind of serious when I say that, but I guess that's also just saying how who he says he is, and maybe that is all connected to that as well. You know what I mean? But I always still am amazed by the stuff. You know what I'm saying? That I'm seeing confirmed today that I heard when I, in 1990, 8, 99, 2000. You know what I'm saying? So I got a question. Like, because Al, I know you were back. Both of you were, all y'all really, all y'all from up top, pretty much, right?
Say it again.
All y'all pretty much from up top, right?
Up top of the United States.
New York. Well, yeah.
No,
New York, Jersey.
No, I'm actually from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, you're from Atlanta? But did you? Okay, so did you?
Yeah, Newark, New Jersey. Yeah, but my,
Okay.
but my father's side of comes from the West Indies, or what they call the West Indies, Jamaica,
Uh-huh.
whatever. But I'm a Newark native, born in Jersey.
Okay. Because I just wonder, because I know Lord Vihaan, I know he well, like he said earlier, he was up there with the Ansar and stuff. And see, I missed all of that. I came in right
Since
when. Say it again.
Since 1979, 78,
Yeah,
77.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was 4 years old. You know what I'm saying? when you were building with that type of information. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, what had Lord specifically behind what? How do you see this after seeing all this stuff that you know what I'm saying? What is your like your outlook about all the stuff that you've seen since being awakened like that? You know, that to me, I think it's it blows my mind
It's
just to go ahead, brother.
it's amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because I mean, I got the books like Al can
Uh-huh.
verify. I got the books
Yeah.
like Sons of Canaan, the
Uh-huh.
original Leviathan, the one that you read from backwards,
Uh-huh.
from left to right.
Uh-huh.
And then you jump up into like the 90s, like what you said, and I bought them all over again. So
Uh-huh.
I read the old books in Arabic, and then had to read those. You'd be like, man, this is something else. And it's like you just sit back, and it's really sad. Some people get it, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, the master did something. He was taking us out of the illusionary world by creating a community and a world where the kids can grow up seeing ourselves in greatness, seeing, families together, building, whatever. So he created an environment where a Garden of Eden, to say, to protect the children from the chaos of the illusionary world.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What is his spiritual name? Yaanuwn, right? What does Yaanuwn mean? Oh, light.
Oh, light.
Tell you who he was. You know what I'm saying? He was a torchbearer as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I say this. I have to say this as well, and kind of piggybacking off what you said, Al. It's to me, it's kind of amazing because you have this illusionary world like we keep on talking about, in which the vast majority of it, especially here in America specifically, we have no clue at all at ties at all to culture.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Not at all. We have no ties to culture. We don't know how to speak languages. We don't know like in I know in the Sabian doctrine, Patarak is the way. It is like, it's a cultural it's a what you would abide by as family and a family unit, structure. Yeah, we don't have that. You know what I'm saying? We have people out there twerking and doing all this kind of crazy, acting crazy, doing this stuff. The stuff that I see, quote unquote, melanated people on this planet doing right now, it's the most craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's just like a small percentage of individuals. At this point, I don't even care, even though they might be religious. But hey, if a Muslim is, staying in his own right, doing his praying and got his, you know what I'm saying? He's on point, eating his right food. If a Hebrew Israelite is doing it, you know what I'm saying? At least it's not the part of the illusionary world, that chaos. It might be religion, but at least they hold on to something that's keeping them in order. Because these jokers out here, man.
Out of control.
Man.
Yeah. All for likes and views.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? All for likes and views and all this nonsense. It's like, but like I look like you were saying, the Garden of Eden is like, I'm sure. Well, I know back in that day they were all speaking Arabic. They all had, they were all praying, all, you know what I'm saying, all doing salat. They had structure, and now it's like he done brought a whole another language back and a culture back to almost create literally a new being, a new type of being on this planet Earth. Literally, with that doesn't want to be a part of illusionary world. You know what I'm saying? That wants to speak their own language. That has nothing to do anything except to like Al said earlier. Get in, find the best who you can be, and connect to your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what I'm saying. I don't care what nobody says, man. That I know his mission ain't over yet, but as far as I've seen that brother right there did a hell of a job, doing what he set out to do.
Think about this. The far right say this is a Christian country. This country, America. But if you look at the days of the week, let's start at Wednesday. I don't know if anybody researched. Wednesday is named after Odin.
Odin.
Odin or Odin. Then the next day is Thursday, which is named after his son Thor.
Thor. Mm-hmm.
And then Friday is Frigg Day or Freya.
Freya.
And then we go into Saturn's Day and Sunday and Moon Day. And, you know, I'm like, where is this in the Bible? I'm confused. Then the months, you know, the alleged first month of the Gregorian calendar is January, Janus, the two-headed god of, you know, Greek mythology or Roman mythology. I'm like, I'm looking through all this March for Mars, and, you know, where's the Christianity in it? You know, they attack other cultures. And one thing I don't like using when people use terms like Greek mythology and Egyptian mythology, and it's always mythology when it's not what they want to promote.
Yeah,
you know, why is not Christianity a mythology? You know,
exactly.
Just because you know, it's kind of disrespectful. You know, Indian mythology. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How is it mythology? Why is it not theology?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Why would give it the same respect as you give Christianity, Judaism, Islam, the Abrahamic faiths? You know, and it kind of bothers me when they go into our cultures. They go digging our people in this land, indigenous land, and digging our mounds and digging our pyramidal structures here and in the East. And then they put our bodies on display, you know, and sell tickets. I mean, the level of disrespect. I mean, let's imagine you go and try to dig up George Washington or King Edward or somebody. They would have a
they go crazy.
The privilege they feel that they can go in and just go in someone's culture and just take and display and do, you know, and rewrite history, repaint the walls. You know, it's just it really bothers me, you know. And for indigenous people to accept a foreigner's view, it's not even religion, you know, because to me Christianity is European nationalism or white nationalism. Islam to me is Arab nationalism. You know, Judaism is Zionist or Jewish nationalism. You know, people look at things differently than we do. The people who've been colonized, we actually think they have a sincere heart and love you. They want to bring the Bible so they can take your land. Like they say, you started with the land and he gave you the Bible, now he has the land. It's true. You know, they're cool with you as long as you're going with their program. If I say, you know, I'm a good Christian, I follow Eddie Long or Creflo Dollar or whatever, I'm in due bounds. I'm what they want me to be. You know, so I'm a taxpaying American, blah, blah. But the moment we step out of their program, there's a problem. There's a problem. They start labeling you. That's the first thing they come to. You know, they say, "What are you?" Some of my guy. They have no reference. Like, some my guy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you mean the three wise men? You know, say came. We was the first people who recognized Jesus. That's correct. You know what I'm saying? Well, who are we? You know, what did we teach? There's crickets because they don't have that in their books. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we were the same people that have the Sharifs in Arabia that used to guide the pilgrims to Mecca. You know, because you know Muhammad's father belonged to those tribes. That protected those paths to those cities. You know what I'm saying? But I won't get into Islam because I don't know why they start hating me and putting a fuck on me. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I respect all Muslims. You know what I'm saying? You know, you have different denominations, just like Christians. You know, you have your Sunni, Shia, Ahmadiyya, and all these different things. And but I respect anybody who has a sincere heart, their frequency of love and sincerity. I have no problem with what you believe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do understand the political machine behind
I agree.
religions to keep you in a certain, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, certain agendas done. You know what I'm saying? But
no, I agree. I agree. I looked at it a lot, but you know, it and also the also dealing with the awakening, and through my personal experience as well, it's like traveling around this planet, meeting people from all over this, you know, of all, I don't care if they were Hindus, I don't care if they were Caucasians, I don't care if they were Asians. One thing I've come to, and nobody can change my mind because my personal experience, you know what I'm saying? But you got assholes out there and you got good people.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? You know, and I don't got the time to be wasting on, you know, worrying about just because the way somebody look like, you know what I'm saying? If you cool, you know what I'm saying, then I can rock with you on that whatever level I can be cool with you on. You know what I mean? But I think Doc, I have to say that Dr. York, when he said that phrase, what said, nobody wins the race in racism. I think that's what he's saying.
No
And I
one,
really had it. It took me. Is that's right, isn't it?
no
No
one
one
wins
wins the
the race
race.
and racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, and I'm thinking about all the stuff like growing up, all us being black in America. You know what I'm saying? The much turmoil we got to deal with every day, just trying to get to work. You know what I'm saying? Trying to stay alive, just trying to do normal stuff. It's very easy to hate. Other people just because how much we got to go with. But then at the same on the flip side, it's kind of like the experience I've had, like I just talked about, and just knowing that it's really the system. You know what I'm saying? That is putting people in this mindset to go against each other for racism, all this kind of stuff. These people, a lot of these people don't even know they're getting played.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And
You know
that's
what
a
I'm
part
saying?
of the propaganda.
Yeah.
And when people, like I told this story before when I went to this gun show, when you
Mhm.
have people like skinheads and everything, they try to inform me on how to survive, and they realize
Mhm.
they're all getting played. Because you get to a certain level, I don't care how
Yeah.
racist you are, you see we all getting played.
Mhm.
Because the whole thing, race in America is new in the whole
Yeah, it's
world.
new. Yeah.
They had to create this white status, so the Irishmen and all them who were basically
Mix.
Indentured servants.
Yeah.
Europeans in their eyes, and I'm not saying they
Mhm.
are, but they look down on the Irishmen and all
Yeah.
these people. And when they create this term called white, and you could fall up under it, and you'd be protected, and you'd be promoted. Because those, a lot of people don't know a lot of Euro Americans do not realize the systematic racism that's in this country, from
Mhm.
housing to jobs to schools, because they don't experience it. They're
Yeah.
not seeing it, and that's
Mhm.
about being misinformed because you don't
Yeah.
know. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that's why they didn't want that education. What was that term they was trying to put in?
Critical race theory. That one.
Critical race theory. I don't know
Yeah.
the whole thing, but the little I did, it was basically teaching the truth. If you put all the facts out there, people can like, well, you didn't get a fair shake. You know what I'm saying? And I think it would actually bring people closer if everybody know the truth. You know what I'm saying? Of what
I
happened.
agree.
Yeah. I agree.
And that don't make a person less or greater. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because even though this particular Euro American didn't participate in slavery,
Mhm.
so-called slavery,
Yeah.
they benefited from the results of it. Maybe not their family directly, but
Mhm.
under that new class of white in this
Yeah.
country, like I said, they had housing laws. There's a book that my sister
Mhm.
sent me. It talks about how the laws were put. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You couldn't go in certain zip codes and areas. You know what I'm saying? How much money you had.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it wasn't about pulling yourself by your bootstraps. You was
Mhm.
being blocked.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's just like saying if the education of people generally were fair and truthful, a lot of the problems would be eradicated because ignorance is half the problem. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And
And that's part
and
of the illusionary world.
yeah, and people. That's what I'm saying. Like you said earlier, people don't realize if you. And I'm telling you, we all know this. We all this know to 20th degree level. But if you're quote unquote a Caucasian or any other race on this planet, and you think that you really know what's really going on, you getting played. You getting played the worst because what's happening is that the whole history that was given to you, it's a bunch of crap. You know what I'm saying? It's what I'm saying, it's not it's not real. You know what I'm saying? The vast majority of stuff that we teach in school, and they tell you that, what I'm saying? School is to dumb you down. But, you know, all that stuff, all that boola boola stuff you see with black people with living in huts with bones in their nose, all that stuff in National Geographic,
Oh,
did
that's a lie.
yeah, it's not even remotely close to what people that look like all the people in here, the true history. Al said earlier, when they find out true history, they digging up, they put it on display. You know what I'm saying? You know, y'all been getting played, and like Al said, and now what's happening? Because I saw this. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I saw this one thing on. It was one of the main guys of like one of the like I don't think he was, I don't think he called himself neo Nazis, but one of those type of groups. You know, his beef when they were talking to him, his beef wasn't with, he wasn't talking about black people. He was talking about the elite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't say one thing about it. He was just like, yo, these people, yada yada yada, they lied. You know what I'm saying? He's like, and they got to get taken out of power. You know what I'm saying? All of us on this planet, or a vast majority of, when it comes down to science, you know what I'm saying? We all, because of the way that the Moors and all these people spread the seed around everywhere, and most of these people got a nice percentage of black in them. That's a reality. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, that's something y'all. If you knew the real information, that would be a compliment. You should hold on to that. It's a badge of honor. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it's not this whole story, like we keep on talking about, this illusion, this reality. It's not remotely close to what the truth is. You know what I mean? I have I have a question though. I have a question. Um, so and this it's going to go kind of in the left field. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go in the ET realm. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good because we all can we can all handle that realm. But and if somebody could kind of elaborate, maybe Sharif or someone could kind of elaborate on this, okay? Because we know that there was a certain time frame in which specific individuals, beings, were supposed to run this planet, right? And also they were connected to higher beings that were associated with them. Is one of the reasons why we're seeing this lack. One of the reasons why we're seeing like this the structure fall is because maybe they don't have that connection anymore with those beings that had their back for the longest time.
Um, that's interesting, and actually, just a good question. And just to tie back into a little bit of what you was saying, like before, in terms of this illusory world,
Hmm.
and you know, in tension with these said beings, and the disconnect, you hear a lot of talk about the pineal gland, and how the pineal gland, is how most people's pineal glands are calcified, or
Hmm.
saying it's closed, so we don't really experience what is referred to as the higher saying dimensions, and so
Yeah.
forth. um and this is done on a grand scale, like in terms of like when we go to school, or we're
Hmm.
pretty much mandated to go to school. A lot of things that we see, saying we're bombarded with, by way of media, and and other forms or modalities of entertainment, because it's really to keep our minds off of those particular things. Like a lot, one thing that I say, like in terms of like when people dream, like we look at this world, and or this frequency, this vibration, this third dimension, and we like, okay, well, we have these senses of touch, taste, see, feel, hear, and etc. And by such, we define, or we say, hey, well, this is real. This is what makes it real.
Hmm.
However, when a person is dreaming, um in a state, while that person is in a state of that dream, and for the duration of that dream, some refer to as astral projection, and other things. But while you're in that state, whatever is going on, or whatever a person is experiencing in that particular state, that is real to them in that in
Hmm.
that particular moment.
Yeah.
A lot of times, people don't realize that, oh, that's a dream, until they start to recalibrate, saying back to this particular frequency, this particular, and then they say, oh wow, that was a dream, but it felt real. The thing is that if one wouldn't have awakened, from that particular state,
Hmm.
that was real life,
That
to
was
them.
real. Yeah, at the time.
So, you know what I mean? So
Multiverse.
yeah, the multiverse. So somehow, seemingly so, it's as if this 3D or third dimension, what we call it, is somewhat of a prison.
Mm.
You know, because again, if we're saying 3D, then that's indicative that there's a 2D, there's
Mhm.
a 1D,
Mhm.
and if there's a 1D
Mhm.
and a 2D, then we look to 4D, 5D, and so on, which there has been things that have been written about saying the other dimensions, and so forth. So why is it that we only entertain this particular dimension?
Yeah.
And that's what I want to talk about in terms of what goes back, saying into what we learn, saying in school, and even what we call science. My take, is rather different. Some of the stuff you probably heard of, and it
Mhm.
sounds just as crazy as some of the things that some people have studied or hear about within, like the occult. But the point that I'm trying to make is that when we speak about science, what many of us don't know when we say, quote unquote, this scientific fact is saying no. You know what I'm saying? That's not a lot of science is really sensitive information. There has been scientists, um, who was trying to come forth and bring forth information, but it went against the status quo. It went against, what was considered acceptable science. And these people were either censored, silenced, or made out to be quacks or, lunatics, for lack of a better
Mhm.
term. And so the stuff that we have now, in terms that what we hold to be, saying true, even down to the time, like a lot of people say, well, going back this time, this date, and so forth, like a lot of that has been manipulated, and they
Yeah.
really to get everyone on the same page. So you go to
Mhm.
school and you get good grades after they teach you, indoctrinate our minds to a bunch of this stuff.
Mhm.
But if you learn that and you are able to regurgitate, saying that, then you are a good student. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You making these aids, and then as you grow with that, and someone's try to say, hey, that's not right. I say, what
Mhm.
do you mean? I
Exactly.
get straight A's, I got a master's, I got a PhD.
Mhm.
What you read a few books, and you supposed to be correct? Like, no. But we had a saying for that back in the day. We referred to those people, as educated fools,
Mhm.
because they waved their degrees around,
Mhm.
when you think about the degrees. But anyway, they weigh their degrees around as a badge of honor. And I'm not saying that certain things that people learn is not effective or
Yeah.
beneficial,
Yeah.
but there's no truth to it. I'm saying that's not, what I'm saying. But the fact that information has been censored, and this is not just in the scientific, in the scientific field, this is in the religious, saying, realm, pretty much all the way, saying that we go around, we
Mhm.
just been. And so we read a lot of things and we get inspired by it, and we're like, wow. But again, a lot of this stuff has not, saying, been taught, to us the way that, it should. Like, for example, I'm a cut a little deep,
Mhm.
because some things I'm just trying to like hold back on, but let me first try to, okay. So when you speak of, like, we talk about, saying, like, this world, the Maya is referred to this, they would even term Maya, saying Maya is denoted, saying, to mean illusion.
Mhm.
But when you think about it, it's like, why would they refer to this world as something that's illusion, that, in a sense, that we call, real. you know You have
Mhm.
the Aborigines of Australia. They have that, the thing with the dreams, and the dancing,
Mhm.
stuff like that. But then we have little rhymes like, what is it? The row your boat, gently down the stream,
Uh-huh.
merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream.
Life has been a
You
dream.
follow?
Mhm.
So it's like, what, in a sense, like, what is real?
Yeah.
You
I
know,
agree.
and this is and when we really get in this subject, this where things could get a little messy. It's kind of like opening up, a can of worms. you
Mhm.
know Now, I don't know if you know, especially when it comes to planets and galaxies, you know
Mhm.
the multiverse universe.
Mhm.
A lot of times when when we say like multiverse, I'm thinking more, like dimensional,
Yeah. Dimensional. Yeah.
and so forth. Yeah, because we're taught that, we have all these, planets, out there, and we have the sun, and all of these things are orbiting, revolving, know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
around the sun at these astronomical speeds, and so forth. But yet when we look at it from not, the what we're taught about it, but when you apply your own mind, or if you wasn't even taught about anything about this, this doesn't really seem to be the case. I mean, I'm sitting here right now, the only thing spinning is the ceiling fan.
Mhm.
You follow?
Yeah.
We see how the sun rises, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
See how the sun traverses, you know what I'm saying, through the sky, and
Mhm.
how the sun sets, and so forth. Even when you're reading in what is referred to as the scriptures, in the Ibri, or what they call, you know what I'm saying, the Hebrew, you know,
Mhm.
um, it wasn't referring to the, saying, what we call planets or entertain as planets nowadays. It wasn't referring to them as, saying, planets, but more so as luminaries.
Yeah.
You follow?
Mhm.
So I think when we, saying, because we didn't have, and the ancients, saying, they really, saying, looked at it, saying, more, saying, along those lines, all except, the Sumerians, or most people pronounce, say, Sumerians,
Mhm.
the Sumerians, it's like they have arguably a different, saying, aspect, saying, of it, when, we look at, their, or what is depicted as their constellation,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so forth. um but all other, saying, all other ancient cultures, they had, what, saying, within the ancient cosmology, they had us, under something, an arch or archway, or some refer to it
Yeah.
as a dome or a vault,
Mhm.
and so forth. And only in what is considered more modern or contemporary, saying, time, in terms of, like Galileo and, all of them, and Copernicus, did they, we started getting into this thing about, heliocentric, the heliocentric, saying, model, and, saying, in those things, I mean, I'm not saying that the sun is not, was not important, but this thing
Mhm.
became, for some, and I'm not, saying, so much saying the ancient Cometians, but for them, saying, it became a object, saying, or a thing, saying, of worship. You
Mhm.
follow? But, saying, and then, we also, some, hold it as being assimilation.
Yeah.
Um,
I've heard that.
right. And someone asked me, said, my brother asked me, he said, well, it can't be both. It either has to be, saying, one or the other. Either, saying, we live under a dome, or it's assimilation.
Mhm.
But, some people agree that the earth is a spinning ball. And as such, if the earth is a spinning, as such, they're saying that it still could be a dissimulation. But if you say we live under a dome, that it can't be. I'm like, what? But anyway, so in terms of, like, when we talk about, like, these, saying, like, other beings, or, saying, higher beings, saying, and so forth, um, yeah. And the thing is, in terms of these high, what we would call these higher beings, in terms of the information being censored, yeah, because, we look at it. Let's go back to the Garden of Eden,
Yeah.
right? What did the Yahuwah, or the Yahuwah, or the Yahweh, or, or the Lord, he commanded that Adam and Eve did not partake of the tree of knowledge,
Mhm.
and the opposite of knowledge is ignorance.
Ignorance. Yeah.
So we start to find this censorship, went back, before. There
From the
was
jump.
also passages, in a passage in the book of Isaiah, or Sefer Yeshayahu,
Mhm.
where, it was saying, the for the first heaven and the first earth, no sin should pass, and these things should not be remembered.
Mm.
But yet we are finding things, I mean, things tangible, saying, evidence, of things that existed prior to this present state, or this present world.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
thing is that when we try to, apply, quote unquote, science, or what we learned
Mhm.
in terms of, history, and so on, it doesn't go run
There's no
parallel.
reference point. It's like no reference point.
Right. And so you can't accept those things into, what I'm saying, the status quo, into, saying, what is accepted as being true, what I'm saying, today,
Mhm.
because now somebody has a lot of explaining to do. Like, I mean, especially,
Yeah.
like, you think of things. I
That's the
don't know if
truth.
you have heard of the mud floods.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So, mud floods, Tataria,
Mhm.
and things of that nature. Like these things are not being discussed. They're not being talked about. I mean, there are some people who are touching on it. One in particular, saying the brother Coromeo, saying he touches on some of these things. There's another one I think is Mind Valley. But yeah, these particular things, and we're finding things like when they say that a lot of things that we look at as modern construction and stuff like this, and we say we have this technology. No, we are not ahead in technology. We are only beginning to catch up. In saying ancient technology, and so forth. So when your victors, or as these beings went around conquering, saying indigenous, saying and Aborigine, saying people, of course you destroy the history. You tell the story like how you want it to be told, and anyone who dares to, tell otherwise,
It's interesting, and I agree with you saying that, Bill. It's interesting. What's his name? Dr. James Smalls. Yeah, Professor Smalls.
That's small.
He said something. Yeah, he said one time he said you black people aren't who you used to be. And I remember him saying it, and I just kept on kind of thinking about down the line about what he meant. But it's kind of like Al was saying about the mythology aspect of things, and all these great feats that we hear, that happened, in the past of our ancestors and stuff like that. And it's like knowing, just like we said earlier, knowing there was a fall, because I remember Bobby Hinn was breaking it down. It's like one of the reasons Kemet was even made, because they knew that this fall was happening. They had to write everything down. You know what I'm saying? He was like, they had to go as fast as they could, because they knew it had a certain time. They had to build these structures. So, they had to keep the information there because they knew fall was coming. He said it's all in hermetic text and detail. That's how Bobby Hinn was breaking it down.
Right.
And it's interesting to me because, going into, and it's connecting what you're saying about the ancient technology, because if you have all this ancient technology, okay, and all these people that are executing all of these feats, melanated beings, we all know they were in Africa. Most of these places in Africa, let's keep it real, you know what I'm saying? But imagine all four of us here, same DNA, you know what I'm saying? And not the same DNA, but melanated beings 30,000 years ago. Imagine our conversation. Y'all understand, you know what I'm saying? Seriously, real talk. Imagine where we'd be, how the stars would be looking, how, looking at us seeing these pyramids alive, humming, you know what I mean? All pyramids all over the place. Our conversation, us speaking in our own lahaj, our own tongue, our own language, you know what I'm saying? And when I think about, I'm saying all that to think about, when I think about what Professor Small said, I was just like, that's the picture that came to my mind. You know what I mean? We're groveling, most of us are groveling to get to the point of connecting with the creator of these gods. But it's like, from what we know, we were ones doing all this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? But Al, did you hear the question? Because he was breaking it down. The question about, I'm sorry, were you about to say? Go ahead. Were you about to say something?
I was saying the reality is we are the same. We are the gods.
Yeah.
We are the ones we're looking for is right in front of your mirror.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson said that,
Yeah.
Because we're always looking outside of self.
I want to chime in on something.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I think the book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, like when you start the conversation off with extraterrestrials or whatever, then Brother Sharif, he went into the dream, and then the brother who wrote Secret Teachings of All Ages, he said, we're not born into sin, we're born into skin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the prison.
Yeah, that's what some of the rabbis talked about with the fall of Adam.
Yeah.
The how did he put it? Because in his original state, he was in a state of just light.
And
the skins that the Elohim gave him was literal skin. You know, saying after he failed, they had to put him in skin. That was the hiding the so-called shame as inner light by covering this with the rabbis talk about that light in their inner circles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that makes sense as well, especially dealing with certain states of being on an etheric level and then having to come down on the lower dimension. You have to lessen your vibration. I mean, you lessen your your vibration, and to be able to even sustain on this third dimension. You know what I mean? Because I remember again, you know what I'm saying, of course, Doc was breaking it down, but I remember Bobby Hemmett was saying he was just like breaking it down to like he was saying that like the spiritual side was like foggy, because it was vibrating at a different density, and that was the third dimension, and we were higher on a higher level, and once we came to that fogginess, that's when the disconnect came from the spiritual and the physical, and like what's the Day of the Dead, they call it Dias de Muerta, the Day of the Dead in Spanish, that
no sé, muerto de día, no sé,
okay,
Día de Muerto.
So and they're that's what they say. I think that's kind of like also what Halloween is, whatever. When like the veil of the spiritual world and it becomes thin. You know what I mean? And beings can walk over and walk back. And it's just that it's just that. But Al, did you hear that? Did you hear the question? Skin. Huh? What'd you say?
No, I was saying what's blocking you is the skin, that veil.
Yeah,
the skin is stopping.
The veil. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
No, that's true, man. I mean, it's just also going back to it's also interesting me because I think we're definitely all old enough. Do y'all remember that TV show? And I always talk about this, the Greatest American Hero. Y'all remember that back in the 80s? Yeah. Y'all remember that? And how he found that? How he couldn't read the instructions. He had this suit. You know what I mean? He could do all these miraculous things, but he didn't know how to work the suit. I think that's the perfect analogy of where we are today. We're just starting to get these instructions back. And all these great teachers, Bobby Hemmett, Dr. York, all of these individuals were here physically, to give us the instructions to use the suit. And I think we're here at that point right now. You know what I mean? We're here at the point in which we can start to realize that, we have to take care of our melanin, and that is important, that is different, that is special. We have to, fast to keep our body. We have to eat right. We have to drink water. You know what I'm saying? But we're on a higher level with this type of information.
And we're in the new age, the information age. It's not just from a tablet or a phone.
Yeah,
we're literally getting these waves of information. I was talking to a student at school the other day, and I said, if you want to go into these Silicon Valley, they don't want the person who got straight A's in school. They're going to ask you, have you taken any psychedelic? Because if you just know what they taught you, you just regurgitating. You're not going to bring anything new. Exactly. They want somebody who's going to bring something new. A good student is nothing. You'll be a good worker, but we need innovators.
Yeah, exactly.
People in my wife's family, they into went from MIT to these different things, and they're straight nerds, but they didn't go to the extra level.
Yeah,
tapping in.
Steve Jobs sitting there, probably did acid 20 times, probably did peyote, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he's sitting there.
If you look at, I don't know if you use Apple or Mac products back in the day, but the original Macs, when you turn it on, it came on with the Om sound.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a Buddhist, right? He was a Buddhist, right?
He was a lot of stuff,
Yeah. I think he was a Buddhist, or I think he's one of them. But yeah, but it's that's what I'm saying. Like we said earlier, this stuff is all about it's all about getting outside of this third dimension prison. You know what I mean? And getting outside of it and seeing how it really is. You know what I'm saying? Because you do ayahuasca, you eat magic mushrooms, and you start to do these different things, and I mean you start to see life in a different perspective because you realize there's so much more than what you're just given every day. or if you just smoke weed, you know what I'm saying? You might never be able to go out of the way. People be smoking weed, you know what I'm saying? And these different things that alter your senses to make you realize, man, maybe, there's more, like, back in the day, I used to remember, I swear back in my day, boy, when like, in the late 90s, 2000s, all I used to do is smoke weed, read scrolls, and goddamn listen to Bob Marley. And when I used to listen to that Joker right there, man, and when I'd be driving around, whatever, that Joker felt like he was right next to me, just talking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know trippy stuff, but just the frequency and the message and what was coming behind it. You know what I'm saying? And that started to get me to the point and like, yo, man, this got to be more than this. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why he had to be removed.
Yeah, exactly.
That torchbearer
Again,
had to go. You know what I'm saying?
there you go, man. I had to post a little, and it goes for all of them. If you have influence, you know what I'm saying, with masses, and you're the biggest threat you can be, man. I had this one post from Jim Morrison from The Doors. You know what I'm saying? He was sitting up there when Vietnam was going on, and he's sitting there talking about like, yo, we got the numbers, boy. We could take it. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
You one thing when you was talking about the ganja, right? The
hmm
about more like, there's a book. It's called my mother bought it for me when I was a teenager. It's called Rastafari, you know what I'm saying, book. It's called Healing of the Nations,
hmm
by Dr. Dennis Forsyth,
hmm
the author from
Okay.
Jamaica. And he came up, Christian and stuff like that, but
hmm
at the end of the day, he started, everybody's teaching that, oh, it's bad, this, that, and the third, and we know where it's at, since today, but that's a whole other story, right?
Yeah.
But he got into it like that, the ganja was used as a medicine. They was even
Yeah.
given to children, for smoke. I'm talking about
hmm
medical, people. It was right before the 1937 Federal Marijuana Tax Act, and so forth. There was also a time when people like farmers, they were required, to grow, hemp, for anyway, which is different. I'm not, it's a little different than marijuana, but at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
end of the day, it also got into a spiritual, aspect, of it.
Yeah.
And using, marijuana or ganja, the right way, I'm not really saying the stuff that they got out here nowadays, but
Yeah.
in the correct way, yes, it, it does or can and will, take you there. And if
hmm
you notice, when they started after 1937, when they started demonizing, marijuana, um, they also started calling it the gateway drug.
hmm
But they only told us or left us with the impression that it's a gateway, to other drugs,
Yeah. Yeah.
as opposed to a gateway to a higher state of consciousness.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, if they want to entertain, going, a gateway to other drugs, and when I say other drugs, I'm not so much talking about, cocaine or cocaine. What I'm speaking
hmm
about is what is referred to in Greek as entheogens. Uh,
And theogens.
and entheogens is a term that a lot of psychonauts or people use. It's referred to as generating the theos, or the God within.
Mm.
You know, when like when we think about like the so what happens, like you mentioned peyote, you mentioned ayahuasca,
Mm.
uh,
Mm.
and things of that nature. There's more.
Mm.
You got the poisonous toad, the frog, and so forth,
Mm.
that you lick. But anyway, you also have salvia divinorum,
Mm.
and so forth. You also have DMT, also known as dimethyltryptamine,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Now, and as well as the magic mushrooms. Now,
Mm.
when I have personal experience with some of these things, and
Mm.
I feel like anyone who has personally indulged in any of these, you can never
Mm.
look at this world, or what we call
Yeah.
this world, the
The
same.
same. Yep. Not
Everything
even close.
everything that you thought you read, it's like you're like, yo, that right there, that experience
Mm.
is, or those experiences is
Mm.
yeah, it's much it's hard to put into words. It's no, it's like, because you have to have like a personal, you know what I'm saying, experience, you know what I'm saying, you know, with it. And like I say, when they legalize these things, it's not because they care about your health or my health and we, you know, mental health or whatever. We just want to protect you. Like, no, it's that they cannot keep this paradigm, this world that they call reality. They cannot keep hitting us with the BS, and we're going to
Yeah.
keep us in accepting it because this is a
Yeah.
direct, you know, an experience. You follow?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it,
That I was just gonna say, and kind of picking up the now, don't hold that thought. I'll just say I think about it all the time because I think about the people that when you remember Mr. Ed, the TV show, and the talking horse and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
think
yeah.
about like the people back then and their mindset. They could be like, damn, that horse, really talk, or when they're watching the moon landing, they're like, damn, they really did it. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Al.
no, I was saying that dealing with the mushrooms, they still was trying to get our kids back. The Magi in the industry. You remember the Smurfs? They lived in a mushroom village. They
Yeah,
used to wear the
that was
all
one.
white and Papa Smurf wore the Shriner outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you look at Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, they eat the mushroom, they get much larger. They're throwing it in there. And people who pay attention,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
even the priesthood, they wear a mushroom shaped cap.
Yep.
Uh,
Mellow restaurant pizza.
mellow
Yeah,
mushroom.
mellow mushroom.
Yeah,
It's
Mellow.
all over
Yeah.
that.
Now you know what you said about the Super Mario Brothers. That's one thing that I left out. If I may, just let me say this.
Go ahead.
So like back in Jersey when I first indulged in shrooms, of course I studied. I wasn't trying to look at it for recreation because to me at that point anything aside from ganja, to me it was a drug. I'm like, I don't do that. That's
Yeah.
that's them other people's stuff. But then when I started doing the research, I'm like, oh no, this our ancestor stuff. Like we was
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, hold on. You know, so when I finally partook of it, I mean it had a slow effect. But when it kicked in, it was like instantly I understood what Super Mario Brothers were all
Yeah.
about. Because when I realized when he take those mushrooms and he get big, nah, he not big, he's high.
Yeah.
He just done went there and when he get hit by one of the Gooper Troopers or a fireball, you know what I'm saying, whatever, it's like he sober up and he comes
Mhm.
back, you know what I'm
Come
saying, to
down. Yeah.
that right that he was on.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is that like when we have these quote unquote laws of physics and this that and
Mm-hmm.
like that stuff, those rules don't apply there. That
Don't
stuff,
apply. Yeah.
yeah, it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. One thing I would say about the magic shrooms, the salvia, and the DMT, things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. It's not really for the faint of heart, especially salvia
No.
ignotum. It's said to be more
Yeah.
powerful than DMT.
Mm.
And I know times that I was taking the salvia, which I was doing that in North Carolina. But when I was taking the salvia, it's like you count from 30 backwards or whatever. But I never made it to one,
Oh.
number one. And the thing is, it's almost a snatching. Like in one of my episodes, I felt the chakras aligning. It felt like my spine was being zipped up, like
Mm.
and
Mm.
I was gone. And my brother was recording it, but he that particular one, but he had messed up and so forth. So we didn't really get the recording, and now I just do things privately. But um yeah, it's
What?
you're out there, the world. I mean, like I it's hard to put into words, but there's a book, especially in terms of DMT, the dimethyltryptamine.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the spirit molecule.
Yeah. I
Uh,
seen that.
yes, I'm saying that is a good read. I think it's Rick Strassman, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But
Mm-hmm.
he was doing these. He was trying to get funding and so forth. He had very limited. They was giving him a hard time with it, but to
Of
some
course.
extent, they were allowing him. And the things that that he was experiencing, on the dimethyltryptamine or the DMT is saying amazing. This is stuff they just don't want us to know. And
Yeah.
whether you know it or
Yeah.
not, DMT is one of the most illegal substances, in terms of a schedule one, saying drug.
Schedule one. Yeah.
But if you dream, then that means that you are getting small doses of DMT because
Exactly.
that's why they refer to it, as the spirit molecule. So I'm not advocating necessarily anyone do it. I'm just saying do your own research,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
see
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
that leads you.
Well, you let it off with you said it's not the faint at heart, so that kind of that kind of because I agree with you 100%. You know what I'm saying? You definitely got to be ready,
Yeah.
and in all honesty, Baba Kalindi, he really first going back to what you were just saying, he specifically when he started breaking down, and unfortunately, I had a honor to see him do the lecture live. But when he broke down all of these different things, right, like you said, like we saying right in our face, that was in front of us, that was talking about our ancient mushroom culture, like how Osiris, where they had a certain stance he would have, you know what I'm saying,
Mm,
and he just
yeah.
like it looked like a mushroom.
Yeah.
When they had the picture like the open and mouth ceremony when they had the caps there and they're feeding the mummy, you know, the mushrooms. But people, when you look at it, you think that he's defeat. If the person's dead, but he was saying it's like a map because that's you, the live person, and once you take the mushrooms, that's when you start to being able to traverse into the
Yeah.
underworld. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mask itself that just have a giant African mask that just have a giant mushroom right there.
Hmm.
This was this stuff. This was the. I mean, hence, my logo. If you see
Yeah.
my rabbit, he got
Hmm.
a ankh in one hand and a mushroom in the other,
Yeah.
right? Excuse me. But this is like going back to what we said earlier. That we starting to get this back. You know what I'm saying? A small percentage of it, these genetics, these genes, these ones of us being here. We're all connecting the dots, thankfully, through all the great master teachers that never left us, throughout all the years to get us up to where we are today. You know what I'm saying? I think about that a lot as well. Just like procession, it's like we might have been getting our asses whooped for the last 400-600 years, but we always had the Marcus Garveys. We always had the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's. We always had the Yahweh Ben Yahweh's. We always had the Dr. Yorks, the Clarence 13X, the Honorable Elijah. We always had these individuals that kept the ones that wanted it in line, so we can ultimately be who we are. So with this today makes sense now. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Today, yeah. We anything almost. I feel as though almost anything that's being thrown that can be thrown at this part. Like I don't know if y'all might have saw that clip I did on one of my things, but I used that old cosmic slop video when the extraterrestrials came, they're space traders, and they wanted to snatch up all the melanated people on the planet. And they would say that the bargain was, and if you haven't seen it, check that out. But it was a George Clinton thing. But anyway,
Oh yeah, George Clinton.
yeah, if UFOs were to come right now on top of the Washington Monument and open out a ladder, and people that look like what's his name, Barry White came out, you know what I'm saying, in white garments and big froze, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I would say, okay, you know what I'm saying, that makes sense. I'm just saying that at one time sci-fi was looking at sci-fi, but now we're able to connect that to our ancestors and our culture, and that's a
Yeah.
reality.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
personally think that outside is being blocked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Outside, um, be it different galactical laws with interfering. I'm not sure, but
Hmm.
I just don't think they're gonna. Humans at this point right now. I mean, it's a slow progress of making other type of life forms comfortable. They,
Hmm.
they prep the kids with the cartoons and characters to make reptilian looking beings, whatever, fun and happy. But so something's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I agree.
You
And I'm
you
I
not.
know
agree.
something's going on just by virtue of the fact the military created the Space Force. You know
Yeah.
that, right? Okay.
Hmm.
Under Trump.
Under Trump, yeah, exactly. Nobody, Trump did it.
I give him credit. You
Yep,
know,
Trump did a lot. Shoot, Trump did a lot of things. If you unless you just what do they call those people? Plantation Democrats. Is that what they call them? Right? That's one of the nicknames they call them.
he released all those UFO files too. That
Yep.
people not look it's released. Go look at it.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah. If y'all, back when I was in Atlanta, I was working. You know what I'm saying? And some of the people I work with, I used to ask the question. I used to walk around. I used to be like, so who you want to vote for? Trump or Biden? And And I would say about 75%, and these are all melanated folks. They like Trump, and it was very simple. As y'all probably know the answer is. It was very simple answer why he wanted Trump still in office.
Yeah.
He was making money. Their 401k was jumping.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
look at the economy now.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the country now.
It's in shambles.
Yeah, you know,
One thing I
it's
know about this country with the
mm,
media, they will keep everybody feeling that everything is all right.
yeah.
If they really told the American people what's really going on in the world,
Mhm.
the economy would suffer because people are like, well, I'm not spending no money. I'm going to save and get ready,
Yeah.
But to keep money flowing, they have to give you the illusionary world, as
Mhm.
Trump would call it, fake news.
Fake news, yeah. He
Eat
was
that
right.
fake news. You feel good. Everything's
Mhm.
good. Let's go buy some things. Go on a vacation. Let's go on a cruise. Let's go buy some things. There's a sale going on.
Like Bush said that, remember?
They do
Go out and buy it, remember?
because they have to keep this. Our economy is based on the movement of money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The money is a currency. It has to keep
Mhm.
moving to be effective. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, like I said, I would advise people to look at news stations from other countries to get
Mhm.
more a balanced view of what's really going on in this world.
Yeah.
If I could just mention some of the stuff Seth brings to me, it would have you kind of in a different state of mind. You need to bring Seth back on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I did reach out to him, and he said he
Yeah,
had something going on. So
yeah, he did.
that'll be how about I'll let you holler at him and get us link that
Yeah,
up.
we need Seth Unleashed.
Yeah. Go ahead, holler at him. You know what I'm saying? Because he already said he wanted to. He said he was doing some things, and y'all got to peep this, man. Y'all saw over there talking about world history. I mean world events. Y'all
Yeah.
see that over in Sri Lanka, they took over they took over the whole
Mhm.
they all revolted against
Yeah.
what was happening. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? That
yeah.
that you know what was that thing back when they did that to the French back? What was in the name remember that during when they took over all of France and they went in there and took all the people out and I can't remember the name of it. That that
I knew
that
that.
time. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, we had that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is a revolution. It's a revolution of mind. It's a revolution of everything that comes along with it. You know what I mean? And truth be told, and a lot of people still that we both know, all four of us know on here now, a lot of people didn't fall for the heebie-jeebie thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't fall for it. A lot of people, we know people that took it,
Yeah.
but we also know a lot of people won't study and none of that. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. It was like, look like this. Nope. Mm-mm. Not me. So I mean, but that's still, that's going against the grain. That's thinking for yourself. That's a revolution in its own self.
It is.
And it's crumbling now. That stronghold they had. That's why I was asking the question about the ETs, because it's so obvious that once the ETs were here helping, keep that together, it's obvious now that it's fell apart, it's crumbling. So it's not as hard, it's not as easy anymore, and they got to go to like more
Extreme measures.
basic, yeah, extreme measures, yeah, exactly, to try to keep the people locked down.
Yeah.
Even the
Right.
stuff, even the stuff with CERN, you know what I'm saying? Because if you can still use a machine to lock people, if you can use whatever it is to keep people still in the third dimension, not to start to evolve and expand, you're gonna do what you're gonna do if you got that technology. You know what I mean?
Right.
They keep us with distractions. I don't care if Will Smith slaps somebody. What's going
Right.
Man,
on? The economy. You know what I'm
I
saying?
never bought it
yeah,
any old way because
yeah.
yeah.
But
I mean,
When you were talking about
it,
Sri Lanka, if I may just at this point,
yeah.
the thing is, I'm not sure if y'all are aware what's going on in with the Dutch, saying the
Hmm.
farmers, and so
Oh yeah, I
forth.
seen that.
Yeah, I learned, saying as a teenager to pretty much, saying look at more international news as
Hmm.
opposed to, just your national news because, if, of course, back to the information, censorship, censoring and so forth. So, But yeah, no saying this is the thing. Everybody is not saying taken to this. Some people are waking up. The whole thing with these social media platforms is just a way for them to monitor who's woke, who's woke and who's not. Saying, and they and basically by looking, it's like, wow, so many people are saying waking up. I mean, there's so many more in contrast that are saying sleep. They stay lullabied to sleep, and so forth. But
in the Matrix.
they're still looking and saying, wow. There are, and when I say this, I'm not just saying, in terms of us as melanin, beings, or I'm saying there's people of all different, types and walks of life. They're waking up due to the information that is being, spilled out, on the web. It's like, whoa, so yeah, they're definitely worried that, they're desperate. Of course, they got some things, a lot of things in their advantage in terms, of these, governments, because one thing, I would say no matter how much, I'm not saying they don't have disagreements, but when they are together, go ahead.
And that's actually a good point. I always see, that's why I like talking to brothers like y'all, because y'all, when I ask this question, I'm not like I don't gotta like what they call it, tiptoe around, or what they call it, pussyfoot or whatever, around with the talk. Yeah, beat around the bush. Yeah. So okay, so we know that it was lopsided for years as far as control on this globe, right?
Exactly.
We know there's awakening that happened, but we also know that, and it's obvious now, there is an opposition. You know what I mean? It's an in a I'm going to use the example. I'm going to use this example. It's a small example, but understand where I'm coming from when I said like the Georgia Guidestones. Okay. Um, you had somebody that thought for whatever they did, now not saying, now I'm saying not, not if it's right or wrong, whatever the case may be. I'm just using an example. They blew it up. They got a bomb and just blew it up. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Right. So they're like, oh, it's, most people be like, oh, what is that? That the Georgia Guidestones was made by the Illuminati. They trying to, whatever the case may be, true or not, whatever. But their mindset, they made an action to do something like that. You see different things like even when the heebie-jeebie stuff was going on, you saw people going to the courts like, yo, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? No, you can't do this. You can't do this. You want to, so there is an opposition. My question is that opposition, is it starting to balance out? You know what I'm saying? Is it starting to get to the point in which the enemies, when they're butting head, you know what I'm saying? Are we at that point now, do you think, in which it really is truly
at the same time, you've seen how the social media platforms were censoring the so-called woke crowd. Right. You can't post for 30 days because this video has a naked orgy going on. What? I'm serious. It's like it's blatant censoring, so they have to censor now. So it makes sense really to get your own platforms. And you might not get the masses that these established platforms create. And that's what I'm glad you have this platform that's running on all their stuff, what I'm saying, like a virus in their system. Brings in. But I mean, it is because they have actually got a name for it, an insulting name called the woke crowd, like that's something bad. Like, don't we all want to be woke? So we want to sleep. I don't get it.
Exactly. What's so cool about being asleep?
I'm woke. But it's just the because most people go with the majority. They don't want to be left out. They don't want to be called stupid, whatever. So they go with the they go with the ouchie Fauci way. What I'm saying? Because that's what they say it's going to do. And fear does a lot of things. They can control you. They can control you easily through fear. And one of the greatest fears is dying. Or your children dying, or your elders are dying. So it's easy to control people through fear.
Exactly.
They create the fear and bring you the solution. It's the same record. They keep using the same method over and over and over. You know what I'm saying?
Obi-Wan Kenobi, he knew what the deal was. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, when he saw Darth Vader, he looked over at Luke, And he was like, he told him, you know, if you strike me down, I'm gonna be stronger than you can ever imagine. You know what I'm saying? But that
Yeah.
also goes along with bro was saying about once you get mushrooms and different things, you try and you start to traverse into multi dimensions. You're like, yo, this ain't shit.
Right.
Exactly.
This ain't shit. Like for real. You know, Baba Clinton, I remember right before he passed, he was just like, he said something like, what, you know, blah blah blah. He said, oh well, all they can do really is kill me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that, that's what happened to him. I'm just saying that some of us know there's so much more than this.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's way more than this. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I think that on the flip side, you know, because of most of these people that don't have that type of connection,
Correct.
and the people that can't even traverse on those levels, that's why they hold on to this place so much. You know what I mean?
Fear.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So what y'all think? I mean, what do you think? Do you think that there is that opposition? Do you think that's that time of the opposition now? You know what I mean? Like,
Remember, I said on a podcast before, it's a cycle up and down. You
yeah,
wake up, they put you back to sleep. Wake up, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
just hoping this time people will stay woke, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And keep it going. And this new generation is doing, I mean, they might not have the right way, but they white and black. I was proud of
yeah,
them
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the protests last summer, not this summer, last summer. And, they burned down America, whatever. But
Mhm.
I saw woke white folks with
Mhm.
woke black folks,
Yeah,
and they had the same objective. That
exactly.
scared the hell out of everybody. They started
Oh yeah, yeah,
adjusting.
yeah,
We got a Juneteenth holiday out of it. I'm like, I didn't even ask for Juneteenth. Stop giving me stuff I didn't ask for. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like, did I ask for that? The black people say, yo, we want Juneteenth holiday. No, but we took it anyway because we get a day off
Yeah.
from work.
Yeah.
But
Which it already was in existence, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's the strategy.
Yeah. Well,
they throw us
hey, you know what? And if y'all could please, they got to expand on this as well. Whoever wants to take it, but there's two things I'm starting to notice very much when I'm just going through social media and all this different things. There's two things. We kind of spoke about it earlier because a lot of the younger generation is getting a hold of information, some of the old information, especially Dr. York's information. A lot of these young kids, every time you go on Instagram, there's a whole, like 21 and up, there's a whole crowd of them, you know what I'm saying, that got mad followings, right? And they're just referencing, you know what I'm saying, books, you know what I'm saying, Dr. York, all these different things, and it's like you said, cycles. It's like now it's coming back around again to all that information. Now the young folks are getting it, and it's like a resurgence of the information. You know what I mean? That's one thing. And the oh crap, I forgot the second one. But talk about that. Let me see if I can remember.
Don't forget that vortex opening every 10 years. That 2000.
Oh yeah. Every 10.
2023 coming up now.
23. Yeah. That was one thing. Was about the youth. What was the other one I was gonna say? How the youth is bringing back the information. I can't think about the other one because I started. I'll think about it, but have y'all noticed that as well?
Yeah. Like I say, I was just speaking. On that is that more people, and some of these youth are waking up, and this is predominantly why they are going directly after our children, after our babies.
Yeah.
They like, you know what? We're a little bit too headstrong. Some of us, saying, they've been successful in turning, but they like, that's too much opposition. How about we go to their children? We go to the youth. We go to the millennium, kids, children, the indigo children, and so on, and we manipulate them. We get them the things that their parents were lacking in terms of money, in terms of health, and so forth. So, saying you see a lot of this stuff, going on, they changing the genders, saying around and so forth, so it's a whole bunch of, things, because it's like, people, are, waking up, people are, and so they like, we can nip this in the bud, in the nation, in the nation of God's on earth, we refer to our babies as seeds.
Yeah,
this is what they're doing. Let's get the seeds. So, and we're going to, corrupt or contaminate them, so that they produce bad seeds.
Bad seeds. Yeah.
When they parents or the us older or elders come talking to them about knowledge, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear what
But you
rappers
gotta keep in mind also the Magi in Hollywood are
Oh,
also
yeah.
prepping children with the Marvel universe. They're dropping
Yeah.
all this shit there.
Yep. Yeah. Plain
Called
sight.
Multiverse.
Mhm.
Even between Star Wars, Disney is like the channel for it. You know,
Yeah. I
a
agree.
lot of Abrahamic faiths are kind of mad because everything they're putting out is magic. Everything they're putting out is cult. Everything I was like, God damn.
The Eternals movie was straight about the Anunnaki. Like straight. Did you see that? Yeah, that I mean, and if you know, if you know that, like, if you watch and you know that doctrine, that information. I was watching that movie. I was like, they done made an Anunnaki movie, like straight up. You know what I'm saying? Amazing, man. Because they know, you know what I'm saying. And when we the only ones that don't have a clue. We want to do
the stuff Bobby Hemmett was talking about is in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they got all the gods in the council and stuff. So like, God damn.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
They got the Black Panther with the goddess Bast.
Yep. That's it.
I'm like,
that's
we
it.
don't have anything anymore. It's like they're giving the youth, you know, so they're still feeding the youth. Somebody in Hollywood is saying we got to get these, counteract that spell. You know
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of like my question. I was saying, like, as far as dealing with the opposition, you know what I mean? Because it just can't always be, we even seeing some, stuff inside of, like, in politics, and people like, just like, oh, I can't deal with this. This is, they just dipping. Like, I'm talking about like people in high levels. They see what's really going on. No, I'm good.
In this age, everything has to change. I was talking to a few churches the other week. I said, in order for Christianity, they have to go with the New Testament. They have to update their teachings.
Yeah.
You can't go around and saying, our Father who art in heaven, holy is his name. Well, what is his name?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, people gonna ask, what's the Heavenly Father's name? It's not God. In fact, what's Jesus' name? You know what I'm saying? Because they go look, it's Yeshua. What you talking about? They have to upgrade their things because you're in the new information age. That's everybody.
Pastor Porchak and Deacon Durong, they're not doing enough at studying to even know the answer to that. So they're gonna walk right out.
That's why these youth, the youth are like, look, they coming hard. They coming with their iPhone. Rev, that ain't what it said. You know what I'm saying? And if they can't retain the youth if they can't satisfy these youth's questions, because this is
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And they can do it. They really good. You know what I'm saying? Read some of Dr. York books and they can.
I mean, I tell that people all the time. It's like, if you have the 3 books by Dr. York, Mohammedism, Mosesism, and
Christism.
What's that?
Christism.
Oh,
you talking about the black books, the thick?
Yeah, the big. I got one right over there. I'm staring right at it. I have the one I'm looking at is Mohammedism. If you have that, if you really want to know something about any religion, and you want to take the time to really study that, you got you need to give that Dr. York a pound. If you see him again, pound, a hug, because that is that's the most thorough thing to break down religion down to its core, exactly what it is. So there's no more questions. You know what I mean? I mean, on a level in which, you could take that book. Because remember back in the day, Doc used to be like, when you go to your favorite pastor and you look at his book bag, he's staring up at his pictures in the book, staring at the pastor. You know what I'm saying? Because they were all reading that stuff, and like religion now is broken down. Because, like I said, Doc did a great job breaking it down to just a point in which it's not a mystery anymore. It's explained down to the chicken griddle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's old news.
And sometimes, and that don't even apply to us, but any woke person been woke for a minute, so-called woke. Your arrogance, because you have people coming now when the level you was 20 years ago.
Exactly.
You got to have the same patience
exactly
people have for you and walk you through.
Exactly.
And no attack, because a lot of people like to attack. Oh, you wrong. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to help people, not hurt people.
I've learned the whole thing because what I've started to do, I've always perfect example, a Christian or somebody that might have what do you call it, like interracial dating, okay?
Mhm.
You know, a Christian might not know. He's at a point, you know what I'm saying, and that's all they know. And
Yeah.
that's all they believe in because that's all they know. Now they can evolve and grow, you know, if they study, you know, if they want to, you
If
know what
they,
I'm saying? They can evolve and grow if they want to. But if they want it, that's cool. They can stay there too. You know what I'm saying? And like dealing with like an interracial relationship, you look at some, you know, that those people, they all they might want to do is just somebody that they can care about. You know what I'm saying? They might be at that level at that time. You know what I'm saying? But later on, if they start getting woke and they're like, wait a minute, you know, I might want to keep my babies looking melanated, it would make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So in the meantime, guess what? That's no it don't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
do
their
your
growth.
thing.
That's their
You know,
journey.
yeah, exactly. We got like you were saying. I'm just pick back at what you're saying now. We really gotta put ourselves in other people's shoes and not try to be all judgmental and how high and mighty because we were all somewhere as well at a certain point.
Exactly.
You
I
know,
totally agree.
Right.
you know.
I agree.
That's why I stopped judging. Yeah, you know, it's some hard. It's hard sometimes, you know, and well, I think we're all prejudiced to a certain degree. You know, I think you have to be at this war day and age for survival, because you know, I remember this one time I was I was in North Carolina coming from Atlanta to Virginia. I'm gonna tell y'all, brothers, man, I pulled into this place in North Carolina, and it was only me getting some gas. Man, these three white dudes came out the car. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I had no, you know, I had my thing. I'm gonna tell you, it would have been a tough battle if they had bad intentions. It would have been a tough battle. That's all I'm gonna say. But you know, it wasn't no, you know, they went in and got the gas or whatever. But you know, me for self survival and prejudging, looking at them like, all right, you know, but you know, we got to do that. You know what I'm
That was a
saying?
funny story that I was going to Louisiana and I stopped in Mississippi at a gas station, this hole in the
Hmm.
wall gas station. And I had my ark with the taboos of Jesus on it.
Hmm.
And the cashier, she's a white lady, had a few tattoos, whatever, but she's real country white girl, young girl. She said, "Why do you have Jesus on the ark?" I said, "Well, it's a nice symbol." I didn't want to go that deep with her. She's like, "But Egypt predates Jesus." She said, "That's like blasphemy. Why would you put that on?" You know, I was like, I didn't expect all this going on. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
how we getting this long conversation? And here's this white girl in Mississippi, you know, trying to school me. I'm sitting there like, I didn't come offensive, you know. She's like, that's insulting. Why would you insult the arm? You know what I'm saying? That's an African symbol. Blah, blah, blah. She's going off. I'm sitting there like, but I wear the same symbol around my own people. I get no conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Exactly.
all.
She's talking about raw and this, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I wish I had a camera. I'm like, can I record this?
Yeah. Tell her to come on the show.
But you can't. The old saying, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know,
Exactly.
you have a
You know.
lot of good souls in every race,
Hmm.
every people, nationality, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I
I'm
just
done with that, man.
I treat people the way they treat me. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
That's what Doc always said back in the day. He was like, you know, he was always very adamant on, you know, just from what you just said, you know, and I learned a lot from him because, you know, I grew up in Virginia back in, you know, in the in the 90s and stuff, and it was crazy up here. I'm telling y'all, man, it was like, you know, we used to catch it up here, you know what I'm saying? Especially we were out in the country slabs and suburbs, like, woo, we used to catch it, boy, you know, but the only reason I don't think I ever went too far is because of the way that Dr. York told us how we, you know, not only giving us the self-esteem and self-confidence in me, who I am as a person in my race, but also, you know, the other side, like you just said, just treating people with respect because, you know, that
And,
treat you
and,
with respect, you
and
know.
I don't even look at. I started looking at a young age. Races is not as races are more of human animals. You have
Yeah.
different human animals. It's like you have different dogs, different monkeys, whatever, and each
Mm-hmm.
one have different temperaments, different
Yeah,
natures,
exactly.
based on how they evolved.
Yeah.
You have the African human animal who existed in an environment that was tropical and everything was provided for him, for the
Mm-hmm.
African animal. They had food, warmth, gold, platinum, everything they wanted, they had.
Everything.
You know, you may have a person who was born in Europe, that particular species of human, and they didn't have much. They had to fight for everything they got.
Everything.
So that's ingrained in their genetics.
Yep.
You have to fight and take and grab, and the African animals, like, why we gotta do all that? Just give, share.
Yeah.
So you have these conflict of natures.
Yeah.
That don't mean one person is bad, one person is good. It's just based on where they evolved, that a human animal evolved from. You have the Asian. Everybody had different natures. You know what I'm saying? Once you know the nature of that particular human animal, then you know how to interact.
Exactly. I agree.
If I get the lion full, I might go around the lion. He's straight.
Yeah.
You know? But if he's hungry,
it's a different
story. I might
be
food. That's just common sense. I don't have to hate the lion.
Yeah.
The lion is being a lion. You know, I'm not gonna be racist against the lion. I hate all lions. You know what I'm saying?
You lionist.
Go into interact with the lion. Is he full? Yeah, okay, I can deal with you. You know what I'm saying? But if he's real hungry and the whole pack looking hungry, you think I'm gonna go in that side of town?
Yeah,
no.
Really.
In Africa, they do that. When the people go over to Africa, vacating, they go mess with these animals. I'm like, why you mess with them? You know what I'm saying? We respect their territory; they respect ours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You won't see a lion going through the middle of an African village because he knows he's
that's their area.
But we go up in there, you know, you got these people going. This is the most poisonous, venomous snake on the planet Earth. He's always in the snake's face, disrespecting the snake. He's like, the snake, like, I gotta take you out, bro.
Yeah.
He's disrespecting me, man. You know what I'm saying? But that some people don't understand. You have to respect people. You have to respect everything. You know, that's what the Georgia Guidestone said. Leave room for nature. You have to leave room. We got roads going through everywhere. The deer's trying to go across the road, get hit. You know, it just people I think misunderstood what it was saying. You know, that particular structure. We do have to leave room for nature. We have to, because we're not the only species here. And if one species goes out, that knocks out the whole ecology.
Yeah,
it affects us. Let's say bees disappear. We see how long.
Oh Lord,
you know what I'm saying?
Don't say that.
Might not like get stung, but we like the ecology that it creates. You know what I'm saying? The pollination and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree. And you know, and it's so sad because a lot of that does have to do with you know, the Magi, you know what I'm saying, at the top, you know, the National Geographic, how they, you know, all these different things just to, you know, just the propaganda dealing with like white supremacy, just trying to say, you know, this is how things are, we so much better, and this is where these people looking, you know what I'm saying? It's sad, man, but like I said in my book, man, in that chapter, what was it called? About America, when I was talking about America, it's like America now is just like very similar to, what do they call it? You remember what it is? Xiamaru, what is it called? The Windfold, when they blew up everything over in the British, and they invited all the people to come in after World War II. Remember that? Like when a lot of Jamaicans came over there and went over there to help rebuild, rebuild Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? I mean, rebuild
England.
What was it called? The windfall, windford, or something like that. But America's at the point now. That's what it is now, because all those people from all those Caribbean and everything came over there, lived a couple of generations, and they started intermixing, and like that's like what's happening in America right now. Because these young kids, they don't, you know.
The South was the last stronghold. You go to Alabama now, that's straight up mixture.
Yeah. They don't care. The young folks don't care.
Because hip hop, you know, it's that salt, the savor of the salt. You know, we like, everybody's attracted to that. You know what I'm saying? It's hilarious. You know.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all been to Milledgeville lately, but Milledgeville back in the day when the pyramids were up, you didn't see that much mixture. You go to Milledgeville now, you'd be shocked.
Really?
I'm in Milledgeville now. I'm tripping. A lot of mixed couples.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. But I was there with the person. No, I was just latching on to what Lord Vihaan was just saying. You know, we was in Milledgeville, like, it was with the pyramids, it was different, but I haven't been down here recently, so that is surprising.
I'm telling you, man, you'll see a white boy with the, you know how they do the camouflage hat, and they got the old camouflage, walking with a project girl hand in hand.
Wow.
I mean, a ratchet looking chick.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's in Millersville.
Yeah. I see that all over.
I don't mean to say
all over the
ratchet,
place.
but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. And you're right when you say ratchet. Yeah, you're right. It is what it is. But yeah, man. Yeah, no. But that, like that's. I've seen so many changes, man. And honestly, I didn't think I would be seeing some of the stuff I've been seeing in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, by the time I transition, I think them daggone ships might be back, man. And that's my honest opinion, man. I'm like, because I've I know I've asked for them numerous times for some help. So if they, I hope they open my email folder, you know what I'm saying, and just say, oh well, Zosa needs some help. Let's go.
You know, I was just thinking, and I wanted to ask this question, since two brothers, insofar as because we had especially in speaking about the Tutu Shi, or what is better known as Los Olmecas or the Olmecs, and so forth. Some they're saying that, well, they just disappeared, they just vanished. They came, set up a great civilization from which the Incas, Aztecs, and the most notable is the Mayans, and so forth established, but they don't really talk about the predecessors in terms of, the aforementioned, the Olmecs.
Yeah.
Then we also have, like those of Cambodia, and people who had these, started civilizations, and it seemed like they have, just disappeared. But with the Olmecs, or the Aztecs, I think the brother Sara Sutiseri, he was doing a good job in showing some of the, the artifacts and history, saying, of that. But there have been others, saying, who also have spoken. Like when you see them, it's like they had on,
Helmet.
right, or considered more. What? Let me say more like, I think this was with the Aztecs, but it was showing where they were in a more like, what could be argued as spacesuits or spacecraft.
Spacesuits. Yeah. I got you.
So in terms of them coming back, and so forth. Like I don't believe or would say that these people were destroyed, so forth. If they left to where,
Yeah. Good point.
the same with the Anunnaki, saying like so it's it's just a lot of stuff,
That's a
and
good point. No, that's a real good point, and I think people really need to think about that. That's a real good point because it's like, because I went down to Teotihuacan, right, and I was talking to one of the guides there. Supposedly he was like well known cat. He was just kind of breaking it down, like he was like, well, Teotihuacan was actually, it was discovered, and they had to, what do you call it, like unveil it? Yeah, what do you call it, like
Excavate.
excavate? Yeah, they had to excavate it. But the more and more they did, they came to find out that, like you said, that was the Olmecs did that,
right,
and just talk about how it was predated. It was much older, way older than people thought it was, and these people were here doing it. And then the Mayans came later, and they started doing their own thing after the fact.
right.
So you're talking about, these ancient civilizations that were there for, you know, I don't even know how long, 100,000 years, millions of years, I don't even know,
Yeah,
but
they
they were there,
manipulated the times, and
yeah.
so forth. Um, yeah. And before I forget, I was down in what was it 2013 in
Hmm.
Mexico. I was standing for a short period of time,
Hmm.
and had two apartments over there or whatever. But and I know the brother Magus Nelson Al Carter was saying, "Hey, take pictures and so forth." I'm not a picture person, even like in terms of me being on video. This is kind of like a little out of my element. But at the end of the day, I seen the Olmecian heads, and
Hmm.
so forth, and I was just like, wow. And you know what's really Nah, I'll wait on that. We might do another show, another segment, you know, saying on that, where I can elaborate more. But um, you know, when we talk about, I think we were talking about, like these, saying in terms of these particular beings and so forth. But let's just talk about consider Antarctica, saying, or
Yeah.
the wall and all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure I know the other brothers of the Magi, Magi have heard of, Amaru, Richard, saying E. Bird,
Yeah. Richard Bird. Yeah.
right? I'm saying, so you're familiar with, saying, with him. When you look at the interview that he did, he was, saying, talking about how when he went beyond that there were continents and that there were lands, saying,
Mm-hmm.
beyond,
Yeah.
saying, what, saying, we are told, saying, to
Mm-hmm.
only, saying, exist. Now, I don't have time to get into it, saying, right now in terms of, expounding or elaboration, but if y'all started to research more into Tartaria and these more ancient, saying, civilizations, saying, like,
Yeah.
going back, it opens up a whole new,
Mm-hmm.
saying, mindset,
Yeah.
for
I
big,
agree.
some things the way that we have in terms of the way that we learned the things that we study, because remember a lot of information that we have, it was the information that was made available, or the information that some of our elders were only privy to. So
Yeah.
they had good intentions on most of them. When you, and that's why I say I always try to respect the elders. None of us are perfect, whatever. We all have our ups and downs and, and downfalls. But at the end of the day, no, there's a lot of information that will humble you, potentially, when you really start, to get into it. Now, you have some people. My only thing, and this is where the Magi Order of the Black Sun, it's that thing of studying or getting into, saying, the unknown, making the unknown known, saying, the
Yeah.
unknown coming, saying, known. And it's not everybody's, cup of tea,
Yeah. Yeah.
so to speak. So, but at the end of the day, if you are, that's why we're considered torch bearers,
Mm-hmm.
because we are illuminating, saying, those dark paths, saying, for people,
Mm.
who are still in the dark, saying, in a sense about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, yeah, if anybody's wondering what the title is, he just gave a pretty good explanation, because you got to have these torch bearers, and in the age of the illusionary world, because this, as we've been talking about this whole thing, this is this is like the movie The Matrix. It is, there's no difference from that. This is just like it. You know what I'm saying? And we are, we these four of us here, we gonna see you in Zion partying. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
What?
You know what I'm saying? We gonna be in Zion partying, man. What I, that's what we gonna be. We would, we've done our studying. You know what I'm saying? We got the genetic makeup to even be able to receive this information, and that's a deep thing too, man. Because but I remember Doc was always talking. He said this is a Nuwaubu is a genetic doctrine. Like if if you don't got it in you, got it in you to be able to comprehend this, and you just ain't gonna comprehend it. You know what I'm saying? And this is like us, man, like-minded. And I used to really I was blown away about a lot of things, because thank thankfully I was able to see, you know, Savior's days when the pyramids, when everything was zooming, you know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
able to, come in there. So I was able to see people don't understand the things that all of us saw when we saw the land.
Yeah.
And people from all over the world come in there. And when you go there, you look up on the walls and you're seeing everything in different languages. And you see yourself on the walls. You see little kids running around. You see people doing rituals. You know what I'm saying? You know, that for me put such an imprint in my mind on what quote unquote black excellence is, that I've never seen anything on that level, that on that level I've never just seen anything like that on my level going forward. Now, I'm not, and when I'm saying it's just because it's unique in its own right. Because you can go to Mecca, but it's Arabic. It's Muslims doing it. You can go
Right.
to it's different thing. But this was unique, man. Like,
It was us,
and
ours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
That's
You know what
true.
I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, it's amazing to me, man. I'm just happy we still got footage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got pictures and stuff like that because
Because
I mean I was
I stopped by the property. You know,
I saw you.
it's Mayan. You
Yeah,
know, it's an illusion now because it looks like it never happened.
yeah,
But
exactly.
if you have pictures and video, people think you're lying.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
White oak plantation.
Hmm.
That's what they
What'd you
call
say,
it.
Lord? You said what'd you say?
The new name is White Oak
Yeah,
Plantation.
I seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh
and if,
wow.
the only thing that can kill an original is white oak.
But
Mm.
see now you know just on that note, you see how they did that. Like we were living proof. Like we witnessed it. We've been on the land like
Hmm.
so many times. Like you know,
Hmm.
I almost thought I lived there. You follow?
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, to the people who don't know, it's like that never existed.
Illusion.
You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
we don't have the seeing the pictures, the videos,
Hmm.
and so forth. I mean, I remember the first time that I brought my mom's and my grandmother down there. They were awestruck, like what
Hmm.
world, what I'm saying? And and the master teachers refer to it as Tamaray or Egypt of the West.
Yeah.
Not that he necessarily taught this aspect of it, but when I started like really, saying researching, more recently, over the past few years, I was like, wow, you know what? This really is, or for lack of a better term, arguably what one could refer to as, Egypt, the West. I
Yeah,
asked a
I agree.
question, in terms of, a lot of times, we are, we hold high reverence, for, Egypt, of the East, or Kemet, Kemet of the East, and
Hmm.
so forth. And of course, I will always respect that. But
Hmm.
let me ask you a question. Like, when you really if a person was to ask what is the largest pyramid, in the world, where does the mind go or tends to wonder?
Hmm.
Yeah, the average person gonna say Egypt.
Arrow.
In
Yeah,
Egypt. But don't believe me on this. Have you ever heard of the Cholula pyramid, in Mexico, in Puebla,
yeah.
Mexico,
Yeah.
and so
Hmm.
forth? Yeah.
Hmm.
We have, more. I know the master teacher was teaching about mounds and the pyramid, the mound builders, and so on. But upon further research, and I'm saying, I'm not saying, and nobody take my word on this, do your own research.
Hmm.
But I'm saying we have more pyramids, here, and actually here in North America, a lot of these mounds, a lot of
Yeah,
things covered up. Like I just even left Virginia, and brother, so I know you said that, you're pretty much from Virginia, but saying a lot of this stuff is covered with the you know, they're covered in greenery. A lot of the
yeah.
stuff referred to as these mountains and
Yep.
things of that nature. Even these petrified,
Trees.
stones and things of these nature. These things are like cover ups,
Yeah.
And we include, Central America and South America. There are far more pyramids, here than what we call, in Mother Africa or in the continent, of what is known as Africa. And upon further research, you start to find that even what they're calling, Africa, that was also inclusive of what is referred to as, the Americas. And when I say the
Mm.
Americas, I'm not referring to the Italian philosopher statesman Amerigo Vespucci.
Mm.
I'm talking about we had that term, which is,
Yeah.
this is where, part where they, in a sense, get that from. But, all of this, like even in terms of the step pyramid, like when you look at that of Cholula, when you look at
Yeah.
that, from the Olmecs and so forth, we
Hmm.
saying the step pyramid, was the first. I mean, and so
Yeah.
forth. Others were
It was
kind of
the
like,
first in Egypt too.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Was a step
Yeah.
pyramid.
yeah, you
Zeus
talking
and
about the ziggurat,
Imhotep. Yep.
the
Yeah,
ziggurat.
no,
Yep.
not just in Sumeria, but I'm talking about the first. The Egyptologists tell you the first true pyramid was Imhotep's Zosa's
Yeah.
pyramid, the step
Zeus
pyramid.
and Saqqara. And
So
Saqqara.
it's the
Yep.
same culture. So
Right,
it's the same culture around the planet.
Yep.
So you
right.
go to China, same thing.
Yeah.
Japan, same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the underwater pyramid. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
see, that's what the master teacher, Dr. York, he was. I feel the impression I always got was he was just trying to marry the information together and show you how one connect, to the other. Because I know
Hmm.
some of my fellow Aboriginal, American Indians, for a better term, that's who.
Yeah.
I don't use the term black, per se, but I understand and I
Mhm.
respect, where brothers and sisters are coming from with it. But at the end of the day, I don't agree with some of them where they try to say that, we were just, Americans or the Aboriginal people here, and we had nothing to do with the people over here. There's too much evidence. For that, we are all, connected in some way, another. Like,
Mhm.
when you look at the certain, artifacts, when you look at the linguistics, and so forth, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna say myself, we can't dismiss that. You follow?
Yeah.
So, like I said, we have, those pyramids. Even some refer to it, what we call the Mississippi River is
Yeah.
referred to as the Nile, River. The Mississippi Nile River. You just have to do some research, on that. Like I said, it's
But
not.
the Euro American knows that's why he built Memphis on the Nile.
Yeah. That's
You
right.
know
Me
what's
and you
up.
was talking about this.
Yep.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they redid it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I think that another thing that people have to, and this kind of what we were talking about earlier about antiquity, um, because and even just race overall, because you really have to think about how old these places are and who was on the planet at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some of these races that are on the planet now are they weren't here. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Just plain and simple. A lot of people, so a lot of these time frames and what they're trying to move into certain, that's why they're real good at always using, biblical scriptures and Quranic scriptures and trying to put a group of people in there to get into an older amount of time to put them in there. But we know that's not even the case because a lot of these people weren't even on the planet when some of the stuff, a lot of stuff was being built and even
Yeah.
here,
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
know. This is, these, shoot, I remember Doc was saying that, the planet was so like, and it's such a, I think he said something because it was like so hot and humid and so dense. I think he was saying something like that. I think it was in the, not behind the nine ball, but one of the older joints when he came out of Amanumbu Rockets. But anyway, he was saying like, talking about the sun heat genes
Yeah.
and how like there was a whole new level of melanin that we had to have to even be on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Or
Are you
you
referring
know,
to
so
Bible interpretations and
there you
explanations?
go. There you go. Thank you, sir. Yeah. But that's exactly what I'm referring to. Yes, sir. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you're talking about like us as a race of people being around here for millions of years and having structures that go along with that,
You're right. Right.
you know?
Last but not least, they was talking about in the book of Daniel where how they was going to change time and change time again, what I mean, so forth, like the
Yeah.
altar, what I'm saying, and so forth. Because, like, right now, people would say, oh yeah, this is the year 2022. It's
Hmm.
like, you think about that, and I know with a Christian, aspect of it coming, but at the end of the day, it's like, are we really accepting that the earth is, or this life existence is 2022 years old?
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
um, at least the in the Nation of Islam, they let's say in they were talking about how the original man writes, saying history 25,000 years in advance,
Yeah.
and saying it's like it's played out, and so forth. But it goes back even beyond then, and so forth. So,
Yeah.
but just to lend credit, get them credit, as far as that is concerned. Follow? Because we
Mhm.
just talking about saying ages, and so
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
What that makes even more sense about because Doc he's like saying that every 20 is it 25,000 years
We know the
your
history.
history has to be renewed.
Right.
So man, that goes right along with that with the epochs, with all like I was saying all
Yeah,
the
the epoch.
cycles. So it's like yeah, so you go to sleep, you lull asleep, you forget everything, and then then the forces of nature have to what's the forces of natures have to qualify a being to rebring our story. You know what I mean? So it is like and you can see that. You can literally see that from what we've all seen. You know,
I say
Hmm.
it's not a teaching tool; it's a remembering tool.
remembering
Yeah,
to exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
To defend
Yeah.
you.
Because we once knew, what I'm saying, like these things, like even the geneticists, they talk about, how basically everything in our DNA, everything that ever existed, everything that ever happened is in our DNA, and so forth, and it's being able to access it. Some refer to it as the Akasha records,
Yeah.
whatever. But, at the end of the day, I mean, for a person to access it all at one particular time, saying, that's a feat, saying, in and of itself. But at the end of the day, they were saying that this is what our ancestors were in tune with. Like at one
Yeah.
point, we knew we didn't have to believe,
Yeah.
but once we was lullabied under the spell,
Mm-hmm.
Leviathan, a mom, a pop, a pep, a popis, and so forth. It's like now we have this case of amnesia. Sometimes
Amnesia.
we
Yeah.
experience things, or we around a certain place, and it's like, wow, this seems familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it up to deja vu, but it's like this is something also like within us, because this world, the veil has been pulled over, so we're
Yeah.
living in an illusory world,
Mm-hmm.
illusionary world that we call reality.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, um, this is something more so further from saying the truth. So we're just starting to
Yeah.
get back, some of us. Then that's why I feel like, as brother Al was saying, the cowards that be, they're realizing like they have to do all that they can to corrupt us, mess us up, confuse us, because leaving us to our own vices, yes, saying we're destined, saying to wake
Mm-hmm.
up, many of us,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, like, in all honesty, all we want to do is be left alone and just do what we can do naturally. That's it. That's like that's the jacked up part. Literally. What else do we want? You know what I'm saying? We just yo, no, just go. I just wanna, I just wanna live my life. I just wanna be happy. I just wanna eat clean food. You know what I'm saying? I don't want all this nonsense. But
Right.
but that's also, the whole balance, the ya, the way, the whole yin and yang, the whole
Yeah,
balance of it all. And like we're going back earlier, is these malevolent extraterrestrials and the people the human beings that they are in cahoots with, that's all they know. So,
yeah,
that's all they
yeah,
know. Because you can't expect some of these people you can't expect people that have only been around for, 6,000 years plus to have any type of connection, or even think anything like, other beings that have been here, and especially ones that are awakened and understand it. It's like night and day. That, it's like oil and water. It's not going to mesh.
yeah. um it was something you were saying. I didn't want to cut you off.
Mm.
Um hmm. It'll come, but when you were saying like leaving us to, when we was doing things on our own, it's not to say that we didn't
Hmm.
have conflict and little issue or certain
Yeah,
issues, but
definitely.
what he would say is that they basically got into our Kool-Aid, and
Hmm.
so forth. They
Hmm.
started showing confusion and discord. Where would we be now had we not been colonized?
Yeah,
Had we
exactly.
not been invaded and conquered? And so forth.
Hmm.
you know Everything, a lot of things that they took from us, they made it their own, they put it
Yeah.
in their form, and so
Hmm.
forth. And but they know, I'm saying, many of them know, I'm saying, that is us. When you look at us, indigenous or aboriginal people the world over, this is why we are persecuted and
Hmm.
mistreated and killed, I'm saying, the way that
Yeah.
we are, because
Hmm.
these people know. And some of them, they actually tell the truth, believe it or not.
Hmm.
Now, a lot, some of the stuff that that I know, it just didn't come from the master teacher, Dr. York.
Hmm.
Some of it came from Pell People's, saying, books,
Hmm. Yeah,
Pell,
of course.
and documentaries, I'm saying, and so forth.
Hmm.
They just dared to go against the grain and, saying, tell the truth.
Yeah,
We got
exactly.
all this information, our
Hmm.
civilization, the things that our technology, we got it from these people.
Yeah.
Saying, to see, to be around, saying, the whole thing, feeling uncomfortable being around the people, like, you steal from someone, you rob someone,
Hmm.
and then you're around this person all day, you kind of paranoid, because you don't know when this person, especially that person don't really know. But when they realize, like when they talk about Yehuda, saying, like, Yehuda or Judah is like a lion's whelp, but asleep, you know and when that lion wakes up and realize, like, you're in this jungle, that you have usurped, and saying, and took over and stole. Like, yeah, it's rap,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this out of that paranoia, they do what they
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
I remember one time Bobby Hemmett said something, and it's not. You, he cracked my skull because it's something such a simple thing he said. It was so simple what he said. He was saying that you have to understand that the people that rule this planet now, all the ruling families, etc., they know who we are, and they
Hmm.
know that we're the only thing that is in the way from them continuing the cycle going forward. It's the black man and the black woman.
Right.
It's a simple statement, but it's so loaded. It almost it might crack my neck in half, man. Because everything you just described, about why we're hated so much. You know what I'm saying? Why we've been terrorized over the years. You know what I'm saying? If you were insecure and you want to hold on to that toy, that toy. No, it's mine. It's my toy. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna have it. You know, that's what we're seeing. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately,
Right.
that's a weak childish, mindset of just greed and all the lower vibrational attributes that come along with that. You know what I'm saying? That's just trying to hold on to this illusion, not even the real world, the illusion.
Right.
It's kind of sad, actually, if you really think about it. It's pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Saying it is. I was just thinking about something like as you were saying that. And I'm not going to hold us up, too much longer. But um, I don't know if you are aware of the brother, saying Dane Calloway.
Yes.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah, he talks about certain things in terms of like how they want us to, saying they teach us all this crazy stuff they want us to leave and so forth, because again, especially here, say all this stuff, saying is ours, and you have to keep, saying they have to keep banging on us, making us feel uncomfortable, because that's what they are. They're
Yeah.
uncomfortable. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine your home, or let's say, you break into someone's home while they're home,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
you have
Exactly.
them at gunpoint, what I mean, and so forth. But you really can't get comfortable the way that you really want to get comfortable, because you know that it's those people's homes, even though you are beating them upside the head and doctoring them, and you're waving a gun like this is my this is mine now, and so forth. So again, it's just one of them things where um the world over, like
Yeah.
I know we were talking about them being 6,000 years old,
Mm-hmm.
but to add to that, Dr. York has also saying explained, I mean, in terms of some of them coming from other places,
Exactly correct.
like
Mm-hmm.
the Pleiadians, the Aldebarans,
Mm-hmm.
things, saying of that nature, which of course, I do, in that context would be older than 6,000 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They are alienating the planet, or pretty much changing the frequency and the vibration to where they could live, saying comfortably, saying in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're just, they're disrupting a lot of the original things that were already here. Like I say, if I mean yourself, some of this stuff, us in the order, we're aware of a lot of things, and you say yourself, you studied as well. I'm not sure exactly how much or what, how many schools of thought, you have been through, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, when you really look at, saying, because all this stuff is just like looking at everything, it's not saying that everything per se is true, but looking at everything and using your own understanding, judgment,
Yeah.
intuition, and
Discernment.
start to put it together to say, hey, to draw your, saying your own conclusions. But
Yeah.
bottom line is that, um, we have been dominated, we have been colonized. Then the whole thing is
Mm-hmm.
that people are starting to wake up.
Yeah.
And even again, some of those Pell people, they are some of them. I'm not crediting all of them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Allies.
to the
Mm-hmm.
ones, saying that are, telling the truth, they're putting their necks,
Mm-hmm.
and livelihoods, on the line.
Mm-hmm.
I salute them. On
Mm-hmm.
that note, um,
They got that old positive blood. They got some of us in
Yeah,
that family tree.
yeah,
Real talk, man. We can joke about it if we want, but that's like I don't know if y'all, I know Al probably knows, but like my brother had a rare kidney disease, right? Like the same one Alonzo Mourning had. His
hmm
his daggone his daggone childhood friend, white Irish dude, only match, and my brother got O positive blood. He was the only match. White dude looked like in the book I said Remy from from Higher Learning. That's Michael Rappaport. That's what he looked like. He was like typical like a skinhead, because he don't got much hair now as he's older. But
yeah,
that's what he looks like now. But if you look at him and my brother, they look like completely different. He was the only person I couldn't even give him the kidney. You know what I'm saying? Only person who was able to give him the kidney was him. So y'all, I keep on telling y'all gotta stop tripping on this racist stuff, man. It ain't gonna get you nowhere,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Y'all wasting a lot of time. I don't care that homophobic stuff, all that kind of crazy isms, and y'all gotta start learning, man. That the Big Mama, as we call it, Papa Ut, the all, you know, you know, if you do right, on this third dimension, you'll have good right out. You have a good outcome. I don't care what you look like, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? If you do right and you go by, you don't go out hurting people and do this kind of things. You know what I'm saying? The universe will take care of you. If you do
I,
wrong, I don't care what you look like either. Get ready.
I agree. I just don't want to have a baby with him. And I don't want
Yeah.
my kids. And I don't want my kids to have a baby with him. But I agree with what you said.
yeah,
I mean, that's like I said earlier, that's a fair point, man. Because
yeah, yeah.
it's a
I
fair
feel you.
point. I ain't gonna say because if you understand the science behind melanin, then you know what I'm saying, and then real talk. Why would you, you know what I'm saying? But that's to each its own. Again, to each its own.
That's
It
that
don't got
joke.
nothing to do with me. So
Well,
on that,
until next,
uh, what
until
you say?
next time, we need to.
Yeah. It's so funny, man, because I'm sitting there listening, looking at this title, and I ain't thinking about, that's the name of my book, like Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. You know what I'm saying? It's like this whole thing, like age of illusionary world, and that's like the theme going on, how we just see how this is all some bullshit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But man, this is one of the best and longest builds I've had on the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast history. You know what I'm saying? If y'all watching this already, please share this, like it, follow all these good brothers here. I think I got all the links. Yeah, I got all their links in the description of
Yeah,
the video, so you can find out how to contact them. Follow Polka Dot Rabbit. Please support. You know what I'm saying? We always down for support. Of course, I didn't put my banner up this whole time because I was so enthralled with the conversation that hey, there we go. Yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna do this again, like Al said. I think Al, if you can bring Seth on, you know what I'm saying, and even us later on, fellas, if we can, our brothers, I should say, if we can come on again and build some more, the Polka Dot podcast, Polka Dot Rabbit podcast is y'all are always welcome here. So
I appreciate that.
All right.
Yeah,
That's good. All
Sure.
right.
yeah, all right. So
yeah,
that's it on our end. Please, like I said, please follow, please like, please share this great conversation because and keep on waking up, keep on learning, keep on becoming better people. We need you people out there to become better people so you can make other better great people. So we make this great planet a great place. How about that?
Indeed.
indeed.
All right, y'all. Peace and love to everybody and all tribes unite.
All
Until
right.
next
Peace.
time.
Say
Peace.
peace.